The Sunday Sequence Break.
Guys, PJ, Spike, you've been at each other's throats all day.
Yep.
We just started the
All
broadcast, and you're
I've
still
been
going.
at his throat for so long.
Just keep it in line. Just got to get through the episode. Right, everybody. I'm sorry about that.
We're almost done with the
Happy
episode, just a little
Valentine's
longer.
Tensions are high. Tensions are very high right now.
Not the only thing that's hot.
But it's episode 100. PJ, come on.
Please.
This is why I didn't want to come on. I'm just saying. Like, Jesus Christ.
It's right after
Right.
Valentine's Day. I've been at Spike's throat all week.
If you just wait, I can make my joke about Valentine's Day and Kingdom Hearts, but I can't now. The time's passed.
Good have.
You guys, you're really good. I'm going to reset
right.
these splits.
Jokes
It's
are over.
episode. Guys, it's episode 132
Like
of
hell it
the Sunday
is.
Gilda Sneeze.
What?
I will turn this car around.
We will not go to Disney World.
Jesus Christ. It's
Oh,
episode
it's a
132.
Disney reference. Yeah, get it?
Yeah,
Spike Vegeta, stay on your side of the seat. PJ, stop antagonizing your brother.
Oh my God.
Ooh,
Diesel,
kitty's
can
got
we...
claws.
You want me to just stop the cast? I can do that. It's
Yeah, I
fine.
think that's it.
All right. Sorry, guys. This didn't work out.
It's episode 132 of the Sunday Sequence Break. It's Kingdom Hearts. With me, we have a bunch of very immature children who are not getting ice cream anymore.
What?
Except for Feasel. Feasel,
Thank you. Hey, I was being good.
Feasel, you can still have ice cream. You were good.
Oh,
PJ,
he
no ice
started
cream.
it.
Nope. No ice cream for PJ.
Mama's boy.
No ice cream for Gilda Sneeze.
Boo.
No ice cream for our guest Spike Vegeta, because we treat our guests right.
Yay.
Yep.
We'll probably give ice cream to Hobz.
Oh, I wanted hookers.
Oh, well, first ice cream, then hookers, okay?
We can provide.
You've got to give something to the hookers to get them interested to start with, you know? A bit of ice cream.
This week
lure
on
them.
the Sunday Sequence Break, live hookers.
You lure them.
Money's not enough. Ice cream
You
needed.
guys, you got to lure them out of their hooker holes with the ice cream. Have you guys never done this before?
Not allowed to talk about purples.
yeah.
You walk over to the...
So
Anyway.
much.
And that's the soundbite
Right.
that's going to run on the news, Flicky. Congratulations.
And finally, ice cream. My God, this is a show. The episode's going to be about Disney, and we're talking about hookers. Right. it's
We thought this would be
finally,
a family-friendly episode.
finally, Castle of Illusion was
Where
so
did it
much
all go
friendlier.
wrong?
It was so much friendlier last week. Right. Finally, Bl00dyBizkitz as our last guest.
Hello.
There we go. He's having none of this. He's-
I brought one adult.
No, I'm loving this.
Yeah.
Please keep it going.
You're
not
saying
having
brought
any-
one adult.
Right. Speaking of
He's
the
the
one
chaperone.
adult, Feasel, what have you been up to this past week?
I haven't seen the one adult this week.
Say, I need an adult this week.
Sounds like
I
a
needed the
great-
guidance of an adult, and I couldn't find one all week. Yeah, so I need the guidance of an adult after watching Top Gun because I had to. I played Top Gun because I was I was learning that for the NES marathon, 20 games on February 28th. That's coming up 2 Saturdays from yesterday, and we're gonna have 20 games played back to back, one big race. So Top Gun was one of the games on that list, so I was working on that. All you have to do is just land on the carrier. I mean, you beat the first level, which requires holding up on the D-pad, so you fly down below everything, keep your altitude low, you go right underneath all the missiles. You basically don't need to do much. It's not a very interactive game, but you gotta land the plane, which is, you know, a pain in the butt until you figure out how to do it, and then it's really easy, and you can't explain to anyone how it works. So that's essentially how you land on the plane, or on the deck of that thing. So
I gotta
I've landed, I
ask
think, twice in my life, and I still don't know how it works.
right, yeah.
for anyone wanting to get into that, I hate to get into interview mode, but what do you think is going to be the game that's going to wall people the most out of any of them?
Well,
or do you think
I've
it's
heard-
all relatively easy?
Well, I don't know.
2.
There's a few
Mario
Wizards and
2.
Warriors. A lot of people have said stuff about Mario 2. I don't know. I don't think that's going to be a real stopper. Mega Man 2 is the entire game, including the Wily stages. So that's that's probably the most substantial of them. Let me see.
Well, that would explain why Primal entered then.
Yeah, there you go.
Because
Yeah.
I can win based
That's-
on that alone.
Just on that, yeah. People get bodied at Wily for or something.
Maybe. I don't know. It's just a lot of game compared to some of the other ones, so that's maybe one of them. But Wizards and Warriors, I know a lot of people have been kind of worried about. I haven't started that one yet, actually.
Is that full game,
Metroid.
too?
Say what?
Is that full game?
Which one?
Wizards and
Wizards.
Warriors.
Yes, full game. But you're allowed to use
about 18
the
minutes
skip.
long.
You're allowed to use the
Yeah, okay.
skip, so there's that. What else? DuckTales is not bad. I'm trying to think. Kung Fu actually has got a few kind of tricky things, but it's a nice short game. Most of them are really short. I don't know. I think it's pretty accessible. I really think that anyone can just jump in and do it. Some people are worried
you're
about
trying
Punch
to
Out.
trap me, Feasel.
You should try it. You can at least
Yeah.
start it. You know.
I think
But
I
you-
have.
But people should also have some experience. Like they should practice the games before they.
Yeah.
jump
I'd
in.
recommend
I've
trying each of
literally.
them.
I don't think I've played any of the games on the list except for Mario 3.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not. They're not. I mean, if you're expecting to get a time of under 4 hours, obviously I would take some work. But if you just want to get through all the games back to back, I think
Can you play
most
them in
people
any order?
do them. No, I think you have to do them in the order they.
Yeah, Bad Break
That's right.
said you had to start from Donkey Kong, go all the way to Mario 3. Yeah. I know. I thought that same thing, Flicky. I was like, I could
I'm
like
gonna
cherry
take a shortcut.
6 of these. Yeah.
I'm gonna be like that guy who took a shortcut in the marathon and cut through town, and I'll just like stream will go down and mysteriously be like 4 games later in.
Yep. Yeah, if you could do them in any order, you just declare that you're done at some random point. You're like, oh yeah, now I did them in this order. Yep, I know I started with Tetris. Or
You could-
Donkey Kong.
Right.
I could do Tetris. I think that's my only one I could be good at.
There you go.
Yeah. Do you want me to do Tetris for you? Do you want me to ghost play Tetris for you?
Sure, you'll be
Feasel?
my pinch hitter for that one. You'll just jump in and do Tetris for me.
Oh yeah, they said, aren't you having troubles with Tetris? Isn't that one of them?
Did someone say that? I'm not. I'm doing great at it.
You said
No.
that last week.
I don't know
No.
if it was Golden or Bad Breaks or who it was that said it to me, but someone was like, yeah, I saw.
I died a
Tetris
couple
was
times at
going
Tetris.
up.
Yeah. No, whenever I'm
Hey,
streaming, I do
100
terrible
lines
at
is
it.
hard.
But that's it. I don't know. It's not really. It's just like if you make some stupid mistake, and it's going fast. But that
I
won't
tell
happen.
you, Spike,
worry.
it's not quite as hard as trying to keep this episode on track. So
Oh my gosh!
Yep.
Speaking of keeping it on track,
I apologize.
yeah.
Alright.
Speaking of keeping it on track, let's skip PJ's recap this week because
Yeah,
that's
that's
not
a
going to
good
go well. Go straight to Gildersleeves.
What? Why would we do that?
we just sequence break the recaps.
No, PJ, go on.
Oh,
In
right.
six,
Oh, you're gonna
in
pay
6
for it
words or
now.
less. In
You're
6
gonna
words
pay
or
for
less.
Wait,
6
you're
words.
gonna pay
Okay.
for it now. There, that's 6 words.
Good job.
Perfect.
All right, Gildersleeves.
Yes.
So I've been playing a lot of ActRaiser 2 like all week. Runs have been going really, really well lately. I had a run yesterday, die to the final boss, so that was exciting. Because I never get to the final boss, so I was more than happy to let that run die. Some guys, Frasterize and Omnigamer, helped me figure out the RNG. So, like, the biggest stumbling block in the 3rd stage is now 100% free. So instead of losing 5 seconds on that split every time, I'm going to be gaining time.
Sick.
So that's really been helping my motivation. But yeah, that run's gonna get massacred. My sum of best is like a minute 40 faster than my PB. So,
And how long? What's the length of the game overall?
my PB is 44:05.
Okay.
So, yeah, there's so much time to save. I've made so many
Lots
new
of room,
strats.
big percentage there. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's it. It's gonna be really fun.
Cool. Gilda Sneeze.
Yo. No. I found out last night I should probably quit speedrunning and start streaming NetHack full time. Apparently, I've got a huge viewer count for that. But no, I've been working on Demon Head, of course, mostly off stream, just drilling strats. Sub 20 is going to be a pain in the ass. And then, trials as always. Finally played a little bit more Evolution last night and sucked out loud. The physics are slightly different in that game. So
Sucked out loud?
never heard that expression.
No,
Sucked like a
never.
Electrolux. I don't know. What?
Is that a...
They say that all the time in Britain.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do. It's just like we're always saying, cracking good joke, mate, and such.
I didn't say mate. I said old chap.
Chat.
Old chap, that's who. We say that too here in America. I don't know how you learned all these American expressions.
You
Especially down
Americans.
here in the South, man. Yeah,
You guys are so
chat.
wacky.
It's true. We are.
When BB
Down
came
here in good old
to
North Carolina, mate.
when Bl00dyBizkitz came to Europe, he was hearing that all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, all day long. We'd be like, "Oh, having fun, old chap," and he'd be like, "Bloody am." Oh, it was great. He really integrated quickly. Right.
So, yeah,
Okay,
I wonder.
let's keep
I
going.
wonder how many
Nothing too
people
crazy
from
for me.
Europe actually thought I was European because of my name. Like, oh, Bloody
Oh,
Biscuits.
bloody.
Totally from Britain somewhere. I believe it.
Yeah, and biscuits. Biscuits are English too. You guys don't
Yeah.
have biscuits in it. Well, you have those weird biscuits.
We have different biscuits.
we have
You have
delicious
little different
biscuits. I
You
don't
guys
know
you
about
have
different biscuits.
No, you have scones that someone dropped in gravy and was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's literally just a stick of butter that we serve.
oh,
I'm
oh god,
not even offended.
I fucked up so bad. Oh god. Oh Jesus Christ. Let's just call them something else and move on. No. Anyway, recap. My recap. I'm gonna try and keep it short. I'm gonna do my best.
Get it? Because you're short.
Yeah, I got it. I made the joke. I knew what it meant. Wait, what did I do? More lightning returns, routing, note taking, and save file making. That's it. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Cool, great. ESA stuff too. That's great. That's going to be great. Cool, good, great. Next up, Spike.
Great.
What have you been doing that's great?
This great week, dude. I've been playing video games. I had a Valentine's from 2 girls, so I don't know how that works.
Wait, are we bragging about Valentine's? No one said we were doing that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, you just said the week.
Yeah,
I didn't
well-
say-
Fiesel had such a huge pile of Valentines outside his front door he couldn't even leave.
Yeah, you thought the snow was bad in Boston. You thought the snow stopped you getting outside. Diesel's flowers outside his house.
My favorite snow picture has been OmniGamer's picture of his front yard. That is amazing. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. Speed gaming wise, I went from 0 IL records to 4 IL records in Tropical Freeze in the last week. In the course of like 30 minutes, I got 3 of them. So I don't know what the hell.
bitch.
Yeah, that was pretty actually crazy. I don't know where that came from. Other than that, just kind of, I don't know, like I'm the ultimate like shotgun approach to speedrunning in that I speedrun like 4 different games at once. So I'm kind of in the process of relearning Rayman 1 right now. There's lots of cool tech that's popped up in that game in the last month, where you gain like tons of speed off of stuff. Such generic speedrunning. You go fast off things in games. So
if you're the shotgun of speedrunning, then I'm the Chinese water torture of speedrunning. It's a slow drip every like week.
I'm grateful every day when I find out you're not actually done with speedrunning. That you're still, it's there, it's happening, but it's a slow drip, like you're saying.
I'm gonna out analogy you this episode, Spike. That's my mission.
All right, chap. But yeah, no. So speed gaming, it's fun. I like it. It's cool. So
Yeah, cool. Okay, Hobz. We're almost done. To recap.
If Spike's the shotgun, I'm the double-barreled rifle of speed gaming.
Ooh.
I've started picking up a second game to go with my first, so I can be equally bad at both. Started picking up Tropical Freeze recently.
I hate to question. I know I shouldn't question an American about guns, but double-barreled rifles a thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Welcome
Okay.
to the South.
All our guns are double-barreled, especially the pistols.
You could come here and probably find an 18-barreled shotgun dipped in a fryer if you really wanted to.
Oh, nice.
We'll make it happen somehow.
Could they drop it in gravy and call it a biscuit?
That's just our biscuits. No, but yeah, so I started picking up Tropical Freeze through about one world and one level as of today. But other than that, just I was on break for a while doing some work-related stuff, and now I'm happy to be back and running gun-ho, trying to get that Kingdom Hearts 1.5 beginner PB.
Yeah. All right.
So yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Nice. All right. And then last but not least, Bl00dyBizkitz. What have you been up to?
Biscuits.
Where are those bloody biscuits, Sharon? Get them in here. Our guests are starving.
The most European name. Yeah.
You're serving tea without biscuits. Okay, go for it.
No.
Go for it. Tell us now.
No, well,
'cause
no, you seriously.
We're never going to get to it. Now I want to hear it.
All right. So, I had a friend in 7th grade. He would not stop cursing, like to save his life,
God.
in class, everywhere. It was like, and I was his friend. I was his best buddy. So I had to kind of pair along with it.
7th grade, by the way?
That would be like
13.
12, 13 years old.
12, 13. Okay, right. Gotcha.
So imagine that range. Sorry.
I'm imagining you at 12, 13. I'm good.
Okay.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Mental image is set.
Very sad time. Anyway, so he came into class one day and he was like, I've been feeling so self-conscious about my swearing that I'm just gonna, whenever I want to swear, I'm going to say Bl00dyBizkitz. And when I was like 15 and I needed to make a YouTube account, I just thought that was the first thing that came to mind, and I've stuck with it. And now my profile pic is like some bloody pancakes that I drew when I was 15 on Microsoft Paint. It's the good life. It's fantastic.
I'm glad you never changed it.
No, never changing it. It's gonna stay that way forever, even though
Nice.
21 now. Woohoo.
Yeah.
So
It's good. Anyway,
I've
what
been
have you been up to this
playing-
past week? Yeah.
Birth by Sleep a lot, like a lot of research. I sniped world record last night. Woohoo. And college. Lots and lots of college.
You sniped world record in college?
Yes, definitely.
Maybe I want to...
He finished in 18 minutes.
Bad ending,
Nice.
but finished.
Apparently, yeah.
Walked in,
Apparently you can hand in the test at
saw
any point.
saw the course description, and immediately dropped all of his classes.
Yeah.
Turns out the fastest
with
way to get
college.
booted out of
I
college
gave a
is
nice
to punch
18-minute
someone.
speech, and they just immediately gave me my degree, and I just walked out.
That was beautiful. Please take it. Take my position. You're
Bl00dyBizkitz, that was good. Oh, you know my YouTube account.
Oh. Oh wow, you watch me speedrun. Thank you.
All right. Finally, then, while you're here, could you just say a few words to the Americans so they'll come to ESA?
Oh,
And then we'll get on with the show.
No, so if you want me to plug
we
ESA,
will.
yeah. It's actually it's a really cool experience. It was my first major charity marathon that I went to before I went to this past AGDQ, and it's really, really inclusive. You don't really feel like you're in this swarm of people just walking everywhere. If you were at the last AGDQ, you'd probably understand. So it's real inclusive. Everybody's super nice, and if you've never been to Europe, Sweden is really, really cool. It's really interesting experience. So if you have the money, I would highly recommend.
There you
For
go.
sure.
He's like a unicorn, you know that? One of 2 Americans to brave the trip over.
Wasn't the other one
The frozen
carcinogen?
wastes of Sweden.
The other one was carcinogen. It was carcinogen.
Oh,
There you go. No excuses now, guys. Do you think Bloody
Aren't you
Biscuits
guys
is
There's
like
like a whole two of us over there. Everybody, let's go.
Are they
Clearly.
lost? Do they need our help getting out?
Aren't you guys like finding cheap plane fare for people to try to
Yeah,
help
for
them get
people
there?
who don't know it, because there's too many Americans who are like, man, I've never been on no plane or nothing, but it's like going to cost at least $4,000. You know, it's something like that. They just they have no idea how much travel costs.
Spot on.
Literally me last year.
You said, no, idiot. It doesn't cost 3,000. It costs 2,600. Way cheaper.
You
Idiot.
corrected a bunch of them. It's been we're finding it for anyone who's having trouble. So we'll do it for them. We don't care. There's no excuse, and it's cheap when you're there too. People keep thinking, it's in Sweden. Hey, no, what are we talking about? It's Kingdom Hearts. Let's fucking get on with it. Too easily distracted today. I blame. I'm not sure who to blame.
It's okay. We're only 14 minutes behind. We could probably still do you.
That's fine. Get the split.
Come on. We'll make it up in the record section. Let's go. Keep going.
Now, okay.
There were no records.
Let's go. We're doing Kingdom Hearts plural. Okay, so this is multiple of these. Okay, let's go with Mr. Spikevegeta. For everybody who has just been thinking, man, what's this Kingdom Hearts game? Can you tell them what's this Kingdom Hearts game?
Yeah, sure. So Kingdom Hearts is probably pretty easily regarded as the second most beloved action RPG series behind like a Zelda. It's kind of the ultimate meld of a Zelda game and Final Fantasy type leveling menus, with it really being kind of a hack and slash at the same time. It's the melding. Is it? I've actually never played Soul Blazer. I was about to just jump in and be like, yeah, but I was like, I should probably not bullshit part one of this interview. yeah, sure, Soul Blazer. Yeah, let's go. Sounds great.
All right, so bear Soul Blazer in mind.
That's all you need. It's Soul Blazer.
Played that last night with my friends.
Yeah, it was great. It was my Valentine's Day. We all sat and played Soul Blazer.
But see, I was gonna say it's like more like a traditional action RPG than Zelda. It's like Ys or something, but it's, I would say, the biggest and most popular one right now, right?
Oh yeah, I would say without a doubt. It's kind of, if I could describe the combat system of Kingdom Hearts, I think it's the perfect melding of real-time action with, I guess, menuing at the same time. You see like really high-level play of Kingdom Hearts speedrunning, and you just notice while there's a lot of like kind of flashy action going on screen, all these specific moves we're doing, there's also, if you look at what's the command menu in the bottom left corner of the screen, we're constantly having to rattle through that. And if you go through the whole thing, there's so many options for what you can do. You can customize, what your essentially your limits are, a la like Final Fantasy. There are drive forms all over the place where you essentially go Super Saiyan, you get powered up, and you can gain access to all different other sorts of abilities. So yeah, it's really exciting, I think, especially at a high level. And it's a fun hack and slash if you want to just ignore the storyline altogether, especially Kingdom Hearts 2. And they've made a buttload of games in the series called Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and everything not Kingdom Hearts 3. So
well, you forgot one key title there. 358 divided by 2.
2, yeah. Good title.
Yeah, but
yeah.
The other bit you maybe neglected to mention is that it's Disney and Square Enix.
Yes, I just sort of ignored over that while all this like kind of crazy like over the top serious action is going on screen, there's also Goofy and Donald running around like healing you.
They're your teammates.
Yelling, yeah. It's I guess I don't remember the exact story. I don't know if like J Hobz or Bloody remembers it better than I do, but I guess it was the maker of Final Fantasy and the maker of, or not the maker, the Walt Disney. And like one of the big wigs over at Disney were like caught up in an elevator one day, and they were just like, "Want to do this?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure."
Caught up in an elevator with their translators.
I don't know if that's how it originated, but it's often described as one of those ideas that should have never worked and somehow did. It's like in a million years, it shouldn't have worked.
I remember refusing to like it. Yeah, remember refusing to like it as a kid and refusing to agree or give it a shot from my friend. It was like, no, man, it's really good.
Version of Devil May Cry, wasn't it for you? I mean, basically.
Oh, I was already playing Devil May Cry. I was already playing it at that point.
Oh yeah.
But when it was like, no, it's Donald Duck. No, it can't be good, and I refuse to believe it could ever be good.
But you got against Donald, man. Come on.
You grow out of Donald Duck in England. We're not allowed to like cartoons once you're older than 9 in this country. It's very tough.
Well,
right on to 46.
All right, so who would be the best person to give us a history of Kingdom Hearts, specifically 1 and 2, and then the 1.5 and the FMs and the AM radio and all that stuff?
Oh Lord.
So I think this would probably be the best way to kind of break it up. Because I'm one of the old boys, I guess, also of SDA. I'm just going to give you like the beginning history, and then I'll kick it over to Bloody and J Hobz, and they can kind of tag team, I think, for the once like Bloody came onto the scene back in like 2010, 11. I think it was about 11 you came on the scene, and J Hobz is relatively recent, so we can kind of just like tag team this a little bit. But yeah, I guess Kingdom Hearts speedrunning started back in 2006 when it was. I found SDA back in 2004 when they had about 13 runs up on the website, and
Metro Prime 1. Woo!
Yep, Metro Prime run by Radix in 137. It was pretty great. But yeah, no, and I always had this. I mean, obviously, I loved Kingdom Hearts 1 specifically at that time. It was pre-Kingdom Hearts 2 days. And I always thought, man, I want to speedrun this game. And sadly, Kingdom Hearts 1 had unskippable cutscenes, which is like 3 hours of the run. It just extended the game way too much. So I was like, well, that's not happening. But then 2006 came along and Kingdom Hearts 2 came out, and it was just this immediately, which to note, any of you watching the stream right now, this is actually Kingdom Hearts 2, as it's noted in the title, Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, which is the director's cut of Kingdom Hearts 2. But this is Kingdom Hearts 2 I'm talking about right now is what you're watching. Kingdom Hearts 2 came out, and it was immediately just a much, much, much friendlier speed game than Kingdom Hearts 1. You can tell there was like a sense of speed involved. There was an in-game timer that was not only noted in the menu and when you were on the world map, it was also for each world you went to. There was a timer for each world. So it gave this idea of like, oh, let's see if I can go back and beat this world in 10 minutes now instead of 11, like whatever it might have been. Also, there was just a lot more options at your disposal for what you could do right off the bat. And, you know, I was back in much more primitive days where primitive days was not like as a
recording your runs
the dinosaurs.
Yes. But that's what it was back
passing down tales of runs that you had made.
Yes, and well, I mean, a bunch of us were there.
It's living.
In the mid 2000s era of SDA, where it was literally just we'd be on the forum and be like, oh man, I found this strat, wait 8 months and you'll get to see what I just did. It'll be crazy.
Yeah.
Let me mail you a copy of the videotape
of this VHS tape that I recorded onto.
Shit, you're in Europe, they don't work.
That's not gonna work.
What do you mean, beta?
But yeah, no. So, I was, I guess, the original person who saw Kingdom Hearts 2. I saw there was like a run on Ultima Garden, this old as crap RTA website.
God, I hated Ultima Garden. We have an 8-hour run of Final Fantasy VIII, but no video. Trust us, it's real.
Exactly. Yeah, there was actually one for Kingdom Hearts 1 as well that I was just like, I don't believe this. I don't care. But we eventually beat it anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I ended up going, I did like a segmented run for SDA. I beat the time by however much time. And I was like, yeah, I'm good. I beat an arbitrary time on the internet that I'm sure is good somehow. But yeah, then you started seeing other people, like we were just coming up with strats. You were slowly digging into Kingdom Hearts 2 and finding, oh, okay, well, I had actually never used this option they gave you. And slowly was finding that, you know, there are about 100 different events or fights throughout the game. And you would think, like, in a lot of speed games, there's usually just one overpowered technique that just takes care of everything. And that's kind of what the old days of Kingdom Hearts 2 speedrunning was. It was just, you found, like, I think I used, like, a bunch of Trinity limit. It's this one technique. It doesn't mean anything. But it just killed everything pretty fast. And I was like, all right, this seems good. And you started trying out other things, and you found all these, like, very little minute details in every fight of, like, oh, okay, actually, if I use this here at this point in this boss's pattern, then this actually makes this part go along a lot faster. And, you know, again, it was old days of SDA. But even back then, even when I was doing all these runs, it eventually got to the point where there were three. It was a huge community. There were three of us helping out and doing runs.
Myself, man, it's still bigger than any of mine.
Exactly, that's the thing. There's still a lot of communities that are like, man, I would love if a person would do this with me. Yeah. But yeah, then Puexel finally came out of the woodworks, and he started coming up with strategies. And obviously, we had our race in 2011 at SGDQ. Axel Ryman came out of nowhere, and he started doing runs. So, you know, we kind of reached a point where we felt pretty good about runs, even though it was just the three of us because speedrunning was so small. Well, come 2011, or was it 12, Bloody, you came along, and from there
it was like it was the Christmas of 2011 leading into 2012, I think.
So with that, I'll kind of hand over, I guess, the next piece of the history to Bloody, and you can kind of explain where it went from there.
Right.
Chapter 2.
So,
all right.
Yeah. So as Spike was saying, the whole pinnacle with KH2 that came about at this time was like people started using more limits and more techniques and more stuff that was in the game, but no one really bothered to try it because they kind of just thought, well, that sucks. We haven't really used it. And, you know, why in the world would anybody use Chicken Little or Stitch? And who the hell is Peter Pan? No, I'm not going to use him. Yeah. So
that happens a lot in games where you just think, nah, it sucked on my first playthrough. It's not going to be good. Yeah.
So it got to the point where basically almost every technique was used. Like when Spike had, like, I think the run that stood for like a year because no one was really running the game at the time was like 4 hours 24 minutes.
Yeah, that's
17. That was the time. And like around, actually I think it was 2012 to 2013. I saw HEDQ 2013, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. I want to see what's going on. And my friend Terizzle, who's also in the KH community, he was like, yeah, dude, there's like all sorts of speedrunning. I was like, is there Kingdom Hearts speedrunning? Because I really loved it, and I had played like the director's cut. And he's like, yeah, there's the forums, and there's like 50 pages. It's really, really popular. Now there's probably like 52 because all we use is TeamSpeak nowadays. Mm-hmm. But yeah, then just kind of like got into it and started, and it was just kind of, well, it's kind of like, you know, how everybody gets into speedrunning. It's like, oh my god, this is so cool. I see myself improving and I'm getting better. And eventually strats got to where instead of just like using Knock Smash and Whirligoof, which are like limits where you like literally throw Goofy around and he destroys everything, or where you summon Genie and he has like this Falcon Punch that takes out like half of a boss's health or something.
That's a really good way to describe it, actually. Yeah.
So instead of doing stuff like that, it was like it would be a lot more complicated. And like in this day and age, we literally have a Japanese speedrunner who is looking into the game's code and finding memory addresses that like determine action. I can't believe that. So it's gotten like that in depth in terms of like how you can like look into like how they design bosses and how enemies were designed to react after you hit them this many times and stuff like that. So
that's brave to do in a PS2 generation game.
Oh yeah,
I would not want to look through that.
So what kind of brings us back to the game, like, is that even though it's a long game and there's like no sequence breaks or glitches or anything because Square Enix made literally the best video game on the face of the planet, it's just there's so much depth to it in the combat system, and like even though it's really linear. It's like you fight this fight, then you fight this fight, then you fight the boss, and then it's like, oh, we just do that 12 more times throughout all the worlds, and that's the speed run. It's just there's so much depth and difference between each fight and each circumstance that it just kind of brings you back. And
so, as I understand it, the fights are like they're completely skill based in that regard.
For the most part, yes.
Yeah, so there's like the limit there is how good you are rather than the game.
It's not like you throw out this limit. It's not like you throw out this limit and it's like it fails and it's like, oh well, that's just bad RNG because the NEB was doing this thing and that was totally their fault. I mean, like you'll have some weird instances, but most of the time we've gotten to the point where we can crank out strats at and they're very, very consistent, especially in the later parts of the game where literally a monkey could do it at that point.
Mm-hmm. One of the things about most of the Kingdom Hearts games too is that with all the RNG that is in the game, it's all RNG you can adapt to. It's not like, oh, well, you know, I didn't catch a Nidoran, so I can't do the run anymore or
so
something.
It's like, oh, he did this attack, let's respond this way.
Exactly, yeah. Right. So the RNG is really mainly in the boss cycles and enemies and the way the movement, positioning, things like that. All of these little kind of technical things really come into play.
Nice. All right, so now I know I want to say it was recently, but I could well be very wrong. Maybe in the last year they added newer versions of the games or HD remakes and so on. Did that change much?
Well, there's been there's been a lot of different versions. Like after Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2, it's been like, okay, so we're going to make these 3 side games. We're going to make Chain of Memories, which is a card-based thing. And then we're going to remake Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2 like 5 times over. And they're all different because they like do little balance changes, and this limit does less damage in this version, but more damage in this version. It's really crazy.
I remember, Bloody, you talking about probably years ago at this point, how it's odd that Square feels the need to almost like a fighting game or like a card game or something. Feel like, oh, we have to balance this, so we have to make sure like techniques are not overpowered or anything. In this, like, it's a single player game. But yeah, no, like Bloody's talking about, you'll see techniques that if people are fans of the original Kingdom Hearts 2, you'll see, like, again, we use those techniques like we're talking about, the goofy combos where we're just like throwing him around the screen and killing everything. But you watch Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, which was a Japanese exclusive director's cut released a year later. They made both those attacks do absolute crap damage for some reason. They didn't just want to like nerf it and make it like, oh, let's look at other things. They just want unusable. They
don't use it.
Them.
Never touch this move. Yeah.
Never just like, you see him, it's like 1 HP on each thing. It's weird. But then you end up looking into other strategies as well, which is kind of cool that it gives you that much, I guess, uniqueness. Sure, to each of the versions, that every version has its own category. Every version has its own way you go about all different sorts of fights. So it kind of makes it exciting in that way. But yeah, it's also a little bit bizarre at the same time.
Right. So do you consider them all separate, or is some just way better than others? So like which versions are run normally?
It's kind of
the most popular categories would be like KH2 English, which is like, it's mostly just what is accessible, what's the most easily accessible game, and what's like the fastest. So it would basically be Kingdom Hearts 2 English, Kingdom Hearts 1.5 HD, that would be like on beginner mode, and then I guess now the third most popular at this point would be Birth by Sleep, the Aqua story on the 2.5 remix. So there's so many different versions, and they all have kind of like their own different leaderboard and different times, but the more popular ones are just the ones that are the fastest and most accessible version of that game.
Right. I know it's all over the place because when we had to pick a game for ESA, we just immediately gave up and went straight to the community. And we're like, guys, We want one.
Just tell us something.
Pick for us, and we're probably going to do that again this year.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Is there anything generally about the games as a series as a whole you'd like to mention, or are we good to move into more game-specific stuff?
I think we've covered a lot, but go ahead, Spike.
Yeah, I guess just the biggest thing to throw out there, J-Hobz, if you want to talk about like why 1.5 was kind of a godsend. If you know.
Yeah, 1.5 is the HD, collection. It actually includes both Kingdom Hearts Final Mix, Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, and also the HD remastered cutscenes from 358 over 2 days. And
sorry, that title.
Most ridiculous title.
No, we know.
We know. Don't worry. We call it days. But yeah. So the nice thing about 1.5 is that they took the final mix version, which was as we've mentioned, the final mix versions are director's cuts that are only exclusive to Japan, and they took it and they translated it to English and they added in cutscene skips. Because Final Mix had cutscene skips if you had seen the cutscene before. So
which was basically useless
if you died.
Us.
Yeah, if you died, you got to skip the cutscene. So like, yay, if you lost your run, you got to skip the cutscene the next time.
You didn't lose 3 minutes to that cutscene.
Yeah. So the nice thing is that ended up shaving off pretty close to 3 hours from the run. It's about 2.5, I think. 2.5 in cutscenes. And luckily, KH2 has always had cutscene skips because there's about 9 hours of cutscenes in that.
Cutscenes really add up. In a lot of these JRPGs, they really add up. You see them on YouTube, they have those This Game the Movie, where they just take all the cutscenes. And you look at, some of them you look at and you're like, that's 12 hours long. Mm-hmm. Like, my first playthrough was like 30 hours. What the hell?
No, it's totally understandable that so many fans of Final Fantasy X were super salty that they didn't allow the cutscenes to be skippable in the HD remake of that, as lucky as we are, because that would have actually made it. I mean, I know a lot of people talk about it for AGDQs or GDQs, ESAs in general, like, oh man, that's how it'll get in. We'll skip half the game with cutscene skips. But
nope.
Unfortunately not.
Would be very convenient.
Real proud of. Someone's real proud.
Horrible. It's horrible when it's a game you really like and would really love to put in, but you know that it's 12 hours and no.
Right. Yeah, that was like one of the big factors in 1.5 and why
that must have been a joy. That must have been an absolute joy when that happened.
All
Everyone
of a sudden, everybody who loved KH1 was like, "We can finally speedrun this! Thank God!"
Yeah. There were literally like 3 of us who ran KH1 beforehand, and now we have we'll talk about this later, I'm sure, but we have a leaderboards website where in the 1.5 beginner mode category, the easiest difficulty, there are over 100 people with times now. So
115.
115. So it shows how many people.
But yeah.
That's obscene. That's a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the other nice thing that 1.5 brought is they took the Final Mix version and they also kind of made some quality adjustments, like quality of life adjustments. Basically, in the original game, you could only turn the camera with the R2 and L2 buttons. The right analog stick was used for the command menu, but so was the D-pad. So they also had a triangle button in the game that did very, very little. All it did was call your party members to action and could be used for magic. And so they were like, hey, we have this game KH2 that has triangle button as being our main tool for examining, opening chests, stuff like that. Why don't we just go and retrofit that to 1.5? And so that also just kind of made things easier, made mechanics easier.
Oh, yeah.
The camera system got 1,000,000 times better. It just made a lot of the barrier of entry way lower.
I wish a few more games had that. There's so many games you play and you're like, man, if they just did this and this, it would be so much better.
Yeah.
Lucky
we literally got that in 1.5.
You hit the jackpot. You hit the jackpot. Yeah. All right. Okay, let's go into some details then, some specifics. You kindly not written out any of them for me, but I believe you have a video highlight clip playlist that you can use.
Yeah. I put together, I think it's like 11 different fights from Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and Birth by Sleep that kind of showcase some of the more extensive strats that we, the community, have come up with over the years. And when I say we, the community, how many people would you guys roughly say are in our legitimate speedrun community now? Like 50, 60, something like that?
Wow.
Yes.
At least, yeah.
I'm so jealous.
Jeez.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
kidding.
Again,
and then-
3 years ago, we had 3
Zerks, you're
people
taking
on
all the
this
communities up. You share about
then,
5
you know,
with me.
We're also fortunate enough to have like a ton of fans that don't actually run, that end up learning a ton about the speedruns just because they're there every day watching. But they just don't run themselves. So it feels like it's, you know, in 150 plus number. But in terms of runners, we've got, probably in the like 60 area of active people.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Yeah. Which is good because like we're sitting here, we're talking a lot about Kingdom Hearts 2, Kingdom Hearts 1.5, but you'll honestly, we have a Twitch page and you can go on there any time of the day and someone is running one of the Kingdom Hearts games, whether it's Birth by Sleep, 358 over 2 days divided by 12. You've got multiple
X
three.
plus Y.
You've got the card one. Is it Chain of Memories?
Yeah,
The
Chain of
card game
Memories and Chain of Memories, which is the 3D PlayStation 2 remake of
Is that
Again,
the?
they've
Oh,
remade
I
all
thought that was
games.
the email response to Chain of Memories.
Well played.
It's like they went 1, 2. What else can we come up with? Some math equation, email response, Birth by Sleep. I don't know. Just throw it in there.
Algebra and
Guys, I was watching the weather today, and there was a 90% chance of, and I figure we can use that as our next one.
Kingdom Hearts 3, 90% chance of.
Kingdom Hearts 90% chance of Destiny of Fates. That sounds
Yeah,
pretty
and
good.
then we have Kingdom Hearts 3D, but not 3.
Yeah, not three.
Greatest teaser ever
It's Kingdom Hearts
Fantastic.
3D, and it has 3 Ds in the name because they had
for
to,
the
of course.
3DS. Oh baby,
I was gonna say, does the cover just have troll faces over everybody's little
It
picture?
should. Yeah, it really
Might as
should.
well.
Ah,
Might
you
as
thought it
well.
All
I
right,
remember
anyway.
being so hyped when that game was coming out. It was like, oh, it's a
Finally.
letdown. Great.
You can go hang out with the people who are waiting for the true Yoshi's Island sequel.
Aw.
Yeah.
I spent 2 weekends ago with Trihex, and he told me the
Yeah.
story of Yoshi's Island DS.
He's
and I was
told me every
I'm
year
so sorry.
the story of him, Yoshi's Island DS, and before that, Yoshi's story. Asking him about Yoshi's story is one of the most.
Yoshi's story is
Incred-
the most tremendous
It's a real.
disappointment.
It's a real tale of heartbreak for Trihex listening to it. Like, it's sadder than the end of Grave of the Fireflies. Like, it's real, just like tugs at the heartstrings. Right.
Dang, Spike, you're right up there.
Yeah, Flicky is winning the analogy war here.
He's
But
right.
you gotta-
Really? No,
You
I
gotta
just
step
watched
it up.
Grave of the Fireflies for the first time over the Christmas break. Great Christmas movie.
Wow.
by the way.
Perfect Christmas movie.
yeah.
Why would you?
So I relate heavily to that. right?
Jesus Christ.
My roommate was just like, "Yeah, you want to watch this movie with me?" It was like 2 days before Christmas. I was like, "Yeah, sounds great. Never heard of it."
Holiday
So-
time.
Didn't
Oh
give
my
me
god.
any lead up that it was gonna be like the saddest movie of all time.
You and your roommate were crying in each other's arms that night on the sofa.
I'm so sorry for everything I've ever done to you. We're just admitting terrible things.
I love you, bro.
I take
Alright.
a bullet. No. Yeah.
Hey, let's run this highlight video compilation clip thingamajig, and you guys can go for it. Remember, we should have fantastic, not much delay, so just feel free to
Except for me, who's
Yeah.
not.
remember that.
Oh, right. I
Like-
should bring that up.
Did you
Yeah.
get it? Yeah.
So, I don't know if like maybe Jeff, maybe you or Bloody want to jump into just like some of like the very basics of when we want to go fast in these games. Let's take Kingdom Hearts 2 because I know Kingdom Hearts 2 is first on here. So maybe we'll start with Bloody actually. What are like the main techniques I guess we utilize in order to go fast, or some of the terminology like DM skips and stuff like that?
All right. Well, for movement specifically, we have the drive forms, which Spike was talking about. It's kind of like you sacrifice a character. You have 2 party members. You sacrifice one or both to kind of like go into this state where you can like do air combos better or ground combos better, or you can run faster and stuff like that. So we use those to as movement to actually run faster over long distances. We can also use them for boss. Like we use basically like anything you could think of. Like limits, use our magic in order to do more damage, like just like at specific intervals. And then what Spike was talking about with the DM skip, DM standing for desperation move. It's basically like a boss's limit break of sorts, where they're invincible and they do this crazy move that can kill you. It's like you can actually like go into the fight, or you can go into the fight and skip that entirely if you alter the boss's AI in a specific way. Like, it's different for every boss, but it exists in the actual game, and it's pretty crazy how you can actually alter it that way.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just kind of like the general way of looking at it. But there's like, it's hard because there's like so many different things like summons, drives, limits in the game, and we use like basically all of them instead of just one thing.
That's really cool.
With
Is
it just being, go ahead.
I was going to say, is it a case of, I mean, being part RPG or, well, fully RPG, I guess? Is there a lot of like, oh, pick up this correct chest sort of thing, or do you get your skills through level ups? Like, it's like finding stuff too.
It's a combination. So the level up system gives us abilities and stat increases, and getting stat increases at like certain intervals is like right before a boss you get a strength increase. That can be really, really important, especially in certain difficulties, as well as the abilities that you get at certain intervals. Like if anybody's played the game, at the very start you choose between like a sword, staff, and shield or something like that. Or if you play KH1, you pick the staff and then you give up one of the other two weapons. Well, in Kingdom Hearts 2, you pick that weapon, and that basically is your ability layout for the run. So you'll get the same abilities at the same point every single time in the run. So we just kind of choose the best one, and then we get those abilities at those certain times to make fights faster and such. Give us like better air combos and ground combos and better reaction commands and techniques and such.
Yeah, it's really interesting. If you look at Kingdom Hearts 1.5, and Jeff, I'll let you talk a little bit about this. There's actually there are 3 different difficulties: beginner, standard, and proud. And the routing is actually a little bit different for each. Jeff, if you want to talk about the different choices you can make there.
Yeah, basically in 1.5 and in the original Kingdom Hearts, you have 2 or 3 major choices to make at the beginning of the game. You choose your ability that you want to acquire, basically, or your weapon that you want to acquire, that you want to promote. And basically, they give you a sword, a staff, and a shield. You'd think, okay, sword means I'm promoting strength, and staff means I'm promoting magic, etc. And the funny thing is, you would think, okay, it's a speedrun. We want to promote strength, and we don't necessarily care about defense, or maybe magic's not that useful. We'll give up those. But it turns out, due to the nature of how different the difficulties are, we actually use different weapons for different difficulties. Like we take the staff in beginner mode, and we give up the shield, which means we actually like decrease our defense. And in proud mode, we actually pick the sword and we give up the staff because we don't need magic as much in proud mode until much later in the game. So it's kind of interesting. And then the third choice that we have to make is how we want to level up our experience. We have a beginner, a morning route, a night route, and a midday route. And basically all that means is I'm going to gain more experience at the beginning. I'm going to gain even experience throughout the game, or I'm going to gain more experience at the end. And again, you think, okay, it's a speedrun. We want to gain experience at the beginning, obviously. But in beginner, we actually are so much more overpowered in the beginning that you end up picking night route so that you can get more overall experience. And then in proud, you're actually really underleveled, so you pick the dawn route so that way you can actually level up really quickly. And it turns out, and it just so like magically worked out this way, that in standard mode, which is the worst category of the 3.
Don't run that one. Don't
run standard. I can't. Being one of one of the 2 people to route it, I can confirm. Don't run standard mode. But it just so happens that standard mode took midday route, and it happened to work out best. And I can tell you that it works out best because we've done runs with all 3 routes, and it was just really funny.
It's so refreshing that it's not just like, all right, let's try routing this one. Oh, it's the same.
Yeah, it's really interesting. That's the kind of thing about standard mode why we don't really run it. It's basically like the crappier version of beginner and proud together. But in beginner mode for 1.5, they actually give you a lot of stat boosts and a few items at the beginning, and because of those, you can actually just become really strong. And we can come up with a lot of strats that aren't worrying about dying at all, but they're really just worried about how quickly can we kill this boss. You know, what moves can we skip, what moves don't we care about, stuff like that. And then as opposed to proud mode, where you look at, okay, how can we kill this boss kind of quick, but how can we survive? Because we're going to die in 2 hits from everything, including like the first boss. I think the first boss would kill you in 2 hits if we let it last that long. And so it's really interesting getting to route out these different things. And the only major, like, I call it a glitch, some think it's a feature, we might be able to get in that later, thing in the game is in proud mode, and it's related to not gaining any experience. So it gives us another big factor in being able to route proud mode differently from the other modes.
Yeah, I didn't know if we wanted.
Intrigued. Sorry, I'm engrossed.
There's a lot of stuff. Trust me.
Yeah, it's obviously such a long game, but it is like I just keep going back to the same thing. It fascinates me how unique the strategies are to every fight. And again, like I guess it's unlike, say, you know, like I've run a Final Fantasy before, where generally, like in a turn-based combat system, you're going to have a pretty similar strategy for each one. It's just get to this attack, you know, get this character doing this, buff him with this other character, and then do this attack. So
even more comparably, in lots of hack and slash ones, it's like, well, this move's the best. Sure. And then there's one enemy maybe where that doesn't work again, so you use a different move, and then otherwise, and it's all about trying to get yourself to use the same move. It gets very, very boring.
Yeah, and the dynamic of it is, you know, people's perception of Kingdom Hearts. And I'm sure, and, you know, just to get into a little bit of backstory, I feel like this is part of what kept us out of GDQs for so many years, was this negative perception that people had of Kingdom Hearts from casually playing it, that, oh, it was literally the game where, I played it on beginner, I jumped and I mashed the X button until the enemy died. Like, that's all that you did.
When I was about to die, I used the cure spell, and then when it reloaded, I did it again, and I never died except for this one boss where he has this windshield and spears and he destroys me and I can't mash X anymore.
Because you guys know this from playing all your games, that a lot of times people's perception of a speedrun is what their own personal perception was when they played it. They kind of project that onto it as a, you know,
this game
remember
sucks as a speedrun. You don't even finish it.
Yeah. You know,
the guy's arguing with you. Every time when the guy's like, to use this spell, it's really good. No, actually, that spell's terrible. No, it's not.
And don't get us wrong, we have our fair share of those questions. We will not be getting Ultima Weapon on this stream.
No, we will not be fighting Sephiroth. Sorry about that.
Yeah, but they did a really good job of kind of like adding in all of these different mechanics to put at your disposal and actually making sure that the large majority of them are useful. One of the reasons I got, I guess, because I'm fairly new to the community. I only started around August, and I hadn't speedrun anything before that either. And the main thing that really hooked me into watching the runs, learning about them, and wanting to do it myself was the depth of knowledge that comes into the run in any of these games, really, because again, you know, when you're looking at it casually, it can occasionally look like, oh, jump and mash X, when really you go, okay, well, he didn't just jump and mash X, he actually has to do a 5-hit combo here, followed by moving his foot, 2 inches, and then attacking him again, waiting for him to use this move, guarding this, and it gets really like technical.
There's always, in every single fight, it might just look like he's jumping and mashing X, but if you don't delay certain combos slightly, like I need to do 1, 2, slightly delay, and then the next one, or other ones that, like, I'll get into learning a game, and I know Jay Hobz and I...
Jeff Hobz.
Certain, you should change it to that. That sounds sexy. Where if you're not mashing out your combos like literally as hard as you can, then it just doesn't work. The boss will not retaliate in a certain way. He won't go into a certain combo you want him to go into. So there's
AKA the strat's wrong. My game's broken. It doesn't work.
And if Mario would hear that. Yeah, and we get that a lot with 1.5, especially because it is, it's KH1 Final Mix. It's the less refined game. It was their experiment, the original version, anyways. Final Mix obviously being kind of the director's cut, but it was kind of their experiment. So we tend to get that more than with like KH2, because KH2 things feel more consistent. And in 1.5, it's odd because they things don't look as consistent, but it's because you have to know how to adapt to more situations. So there's a really neat dynamic between the two like major games, and one has more knowledge than the other. I would say Kingdom Hearts 2 definitely has more knowledge required overall, more strats to remember, more menuing. Just overall, it's a longer game. But then 1.5 also has all of these ways that these bosses can change a fight that you knew to be the same every time. And you have to be able to adapt to every single one of those.
That sounds amazing.
Yes.
Thank you.
Got you.
Exactly the kind of thing I
You
want.
are welcome.
Thank you. Do you know what else sounds amazing, guys?
What's that?
Is finally getting on that playlist we were talking about 20 minutes ago.
What?
Now, this is my fault more than
Are
it
you
is
trying to
yours.
derail the show, mister?
I'm trying to get the
Oh.
show.
I guess
Not
we
so
just.
much.
I was like, we're gonna do that one. We can keep going. It's fine.
I don't want to say get it back on track because we're not off track. I want to get it focused.
Just want to nudge it in that direction.
Yeah, I want to nudge it
Just
in
a
the
little
right
nudge.
direction.
Nah, I
People's
subtle
been waiting to
nudge.
click it. It's good, but we should maybe get on that highlight because there's going to be one guy in chat who's like, "When are they playing the videos they promised?"
What?
So we should probably
Nobody
do it
invited
for
that
them.
guy.
Wait, I gotta log into the chat and be that guy. Hold
I
on.
was just about to shut up.
Wait.
So I'll go ahead and just throw out there while we're getting the video started. I know the first one. I'll try to remember the relative sequence. The first half of these videos was polls from Bloody's KH2 FM Critical tutorials. To note about KH2 FM Critical, it is probably the most well-respected of the Kingdom Hearts runs, not necessarily the most run. It's a very difficult category, but it is really the showing of years, literal years, of people coming up with strats for this game, and critical mode being the highest difficulty. Essentially, everything will kill you in 3, 2, even 1 hits.
Wow.
So there's that extra dynamic to it that you have to balance. I want to go fast, but also if I screw up, I'm probably gonna die right now and lose like my entire run. So
The
and
nice
that's what
change that they made too, if I could just like interject for real quick, they also made it so that you do more damage and have more abilities at your disposal at the beginning of the game. So
The cost of
they
dying really easily.
so
Oh,
they
wow.
took proud mode, which was the hardest difficulty, and you did chip damage and died really easily, and they made it ridiculously fun because they made you die really easily, but they also made you do a lot of damage.
God, I wish Devil May Cry had done that back then.
Oh, is that the
hardest
same sort of
difficulty.
scaling?
I can't wait to kill this boss in 5 years.
Click in the
scales,
chat
yeah.
now.
The
It's a gold star.
the 3DD thing.
Oh, if you want to, yeah, that picture is like,
Yeah.
Ace
Top
is-
tier.
Yeah, it's top tier.
Gold star.
I just see it.
But yeah, oh boy.
That's great. Thank you, Ace. But I just want to note there are 2 aces in our community. We're awesome. But yeah, that's my biggest input of the episode. But
Yeah.
yeah, no. So
I just got it. It's Ace. I got it. So all right, now I get it.
Oh my.
I got it.
Yeah, but his name's also Asa. Don't worry.
That's insane. I have a story about the name Asa, but we're already way off track. So
I knew an Asa once. He was a prick. Good story. But yeah, so for each of these boss fights, just to kind of know, like, again, the first half I made of this playlist is about KH2 FM critical fights. And Bloody, I'll let you explain a lot of those since you're, it's obviously your run, your tutorial. Bloody is the best at the game. At least has the best time, whatever you want to know from that. And the second half goes more into 1.5, and it also has a BBS highlight of Magic Mirror. For the 1.5, I'll let myself and Jeff get into explain those. But yeah, we've got Demix coming up here. Bloody, if you want to go ahead and explain a little bit about Demix. And the main thing I wanted to get into was revenge value here.
Oh, okay. Well, at the start, you have to get rid of all these clones before you can actually, like, hurt him. You have to use this reaction command to get rid of them. That's the intended way. But you can actually use the Trinity limit to destroy clones. And the idea is, with Trinity limit, you gather hits with the first 3 parts, and then you deal damage at the end. So you get hits by destroying the clones, and then you, like, take off half of this guy's health with the limit itself. So that was the start. And then right here, you'll kind of see a pattern. I'll be doing 2 air combos, 2 hits, and then I'll use Genie's Falcon Punch. And like at the exact same time, Demyx will always do this move where he sends these water pillars out at me, trying to hit me. And that's the idea of revenge value, is that if you hit him a certain amount of times in a certain way, then he will retaliate at that exact moment. So you can use that to your advantage to be like, okay, he's going to attack me right here. So all I have to do is like defend myself using this thing that makes me invincible and does damage to him, and I'll be safe and I'll be able to loop him and do that for the entire fight. So that's basically how, like, there's a lot to this fight. Like if you play casually, like he has a bunch of different moves, but I'm manipulating the boss's AI by hitting him a certain amount of times. So he only does one move, and it's very, very abusable, basically.
And to talk about like the specificity we were talking about with these bosses, he actually, with those clones, moves into specific positions in order to be able to get the better damage off in a better area. And he also wants to like keep Demyx away from the wall or close to the wall, depending on like what's going on and which version of the fight it is. So on top of that, there's also summons, abilities, magic, and limits being used here. So actually, maybe not magic, but you're about halfway through the game, a little more than halfway through the game at this point, and you're already using, you know, a wide variety of tools.
Yeah. The other thing to explain about this term we're throwing out there, revenge value. Revenge value, actually, every single attack in the game has a different revenge value. So Demyx, this boss fight right here, might say, I don't know what it is, but at 12, he's going to retaliate. Whatever
12.5.
12 point. Okay, I was actually pretty close. Okay, cool. I was just throwing a number out there. I don't know what any of it means.
12.5 aerial hits are 1.5. Aerial finishes are 3.5. If you do the math, then after 2 aerials and 2 ground hits, then he will retaliate at that exact moment.
Which
and
one
then you can use the limit.
Divided by 2.
The math, it makes so much sense now.
Can you reset that value, or
once it reaches 12.5, then it drastically reduces down to 0 once he does his move. Like the move keeps him invincible, and it's designed to drastically reduce his revenge value to 0 while also doing this move. So like right here, he's invincible while I'm using Genie's limit, and his revenge value is being reset to 0. And then once it's over, all I have to do is raise it all the way back up to 12.5 again, and he does it. And you just do that the whole fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So all the bosses having these specific revenge values is also what leads to us having to come up with these creative strategies for, all right, I've got a completely different situation here. While I do have access to all these abilities, I have to make use of certain ones that just, like right here, the usage of Genie is not so much for the damage, but to do a little bit of damage and also give yourself as many invincibility frames as you can to get all the way through his retaliation attack there. And it just works out time-wise to work out perfectly there. You see going into the Genie step as he's summoning him, instead of him using a regular finisher, he'll use a finisher that kind of bops Demyx up in the air a little bit so that you have all of that recovery time as he's falling down in order to get Genie out, to get him summoned. If he just did a regular combo, then Demyx would recover much faster, obviously, and then you would lose the loop and you'd have to find some other way to get him back into it. So again, with all the specifics you have here, that's how that's what makes it interesting, kind of crafting and route. You have to almost route out each boss fight and each mob fight that you engage into in the run. But yeah, so that gives you a little bit of an introduction kind of to revenge value. That's a big thing, especially for Kingdom Hearts 2 runners to pay attention to, more so than like Kingdom Hearts 1, which kind of has a, I guess I shouldn't say dumbed down version because it's the original game, but
simpler.
Yeah, a more elementary version of it, I guess. So
all right, so next video supposedly is Grim Reaper.
Okay, so this one I put in just because this is cool as hell looking. And it also gives you access to Master Form, one of the Super Saiyan forms, as we brought up earlier. I guess, Bloody, if you want to also explain the strategy here and why Master Form is swag.
All right, so the idea here basically is that after a certain amount of flinches, this is getting into another really complicated, like, invisible counter in the system, just like Revenge Value. So I'm going to kind of like gloss over that. And it's like, you want him to not teleport around, because after you hit him a certain amount of times, then he will teleport, and that wastes time. So if you freeze him, he's like vulnerable to magic, or in like the Pirates of the Caribbean world. And the theme here is that enemies or pirates are like cursed and they're weak to magic. So if you freeze him with Blizzard, then it'll like prevent him from teleporting around. And if you use Master Form in conjunction with that, you do like these crazy air combos. And this goes like into the combo system where you can integrate your magic spells with your Keyblade hits. So like right here, I like use Blizzard to start off the combo, and then I go into my finisher and such. And then I want to put him into this corner over here by spamming the heck out of all of my magic until it's gone. And then I go into Master Form. And then I do this air combo where I have 3 finishers, and that's where I'm doing all of my damage. I use 2, and then I freeze him again so he doesn't go away. And I just do that over and over again to keep him in place, do lots of damage, but also make it so he doesn't teleport away. And it makes for a really crazy, fast, fun fight, and it's awesome.
There's so many people I hear casually who are like, oh, I never used Master Form. It's really like, I don't know. I like Valor a lot more. It's like really good. No, it's like, how can you watch this? And this is, you also actually level up your drive forms throughout the game. And each of them require different thing. Like the first form you get, Super Saiyan level 1, we'll call it. You have to just kill a certain amount of enemies or Heartless in order to level it up. Master Form, we don't level up at all in this run. This is level 1, the kind of damage it does. So yeah, and again, just like all the specifics, even down to just what weapon you're using. Right now he's got the Rumbling Rose equipped, which gives him an extra finisher, and because you're on critical mode and they give you bonuses, you have another finisher. So that's where these 3 finishers are coming from. You probably can't tell the difference between the finishers and the regular attacks, but just trust that he's doing 2 big finishers, he's shooting a Blizzard, he's then landing on the ground to start his combo. To reset it, and then doing just as much damage as he possibly can. Again, like normally what this fight is, you hit him a few times and then he teleports across the ship. You go hit him a few times, he teleports across the ship. You hit him a few times. So all of this keeping him in this constant state of stunned, I guess you could say, just off guard, makes for a 30-second fight instead of a minute-and-a-half fight or whatever it might be. So, but yeah, really the main reason I want to show that is just because Master Form is swag. There's not much other like technical reasoning behind it or anything. So,
all right,
I believe
it does look pretty flashy.
The yellow form is cool, and I like it a lot.
Exactly, and that's part of what helps a game like this, I think, especially in a marathon type setting, or just if you want to watch it. It's just, whoa, I never used this when I played the game casually. It was pretty much just like jump and spamming stuff.
I get that every time I see a summon in Final Fantasy 13 runs, and I was like, but they sucked. I don't get it.
Do they use summons in 13 Speed? I hear
they do.
13
They do now.
Like the best speed game.
It's getting cool. We'll talk about it later. Next, we'll talk about whatever the next video is.
So I believe the next video I brought up was actually Luxord. And Luxord, there's a couple of reasons, but the main reason I wanted to show him was to give you an idea behind what's called the DM skip, like Bloody was talking about earlier. And Bloody, whenever we get into Luxord, I'll let you explain some of the reasoning behind the fight, and primarily DM skips.
Mm-hmm. This is like primarily the tutorial video for like I made an entire playlist for people who are interested in speedrunning the game. It's every single boss strat, and it kind of just describes what you do and what situations you'll come into. So this is what that video is right now. As you can see, the screen or the ground is kind of like disappearing because emulator. But basically right here, the first phase I go through with this with another drive form. just to get to this form here, or this phase, the second phase, where it makes it easier to loop him. So this is more revenge value right here. So I do that combo, nail him with a Blizzard, and he automatically does one of two things. He either does the card minigame, which he did there, or he's going to throw cards at me and then jump. And you can loop either one, like right there he jumps, so I jump, reflect, hit him, disappear, make the cards disappear, and then hit him a few more times, and he does another loop, basically. And you just keep him looped like this the whole fight. It's just kind of standard revenge value stuff that you can do with bosses. And then here in a little bit, there'll be what's called the DM skip. So if you've ever played this game, or remember this boss, what he does is he throws all of these cards out. The screen gets really, really dark, and he does this move for like 15, 20 seconds, and then at the very end, you have to do this thing with your command menu in the bottom left, where you make all of the X's circles, and that's how you win the minigame, I suppose, is what the idea is.
Mm-hmm.
But you can skip that all entirely by getting, if you see his like time gauge, a lot of people don't really understand it. It's basically like his HP, but you just have to hit him a bunch to make it go down. Once you get it to a certain point, then you'll go for this thing where you stun him the entire time, like right here, this is the DM skip. So I'll go into Trinity Limit, which will take more time off of his gauge. And then I go into my drive form right before he goes into his DM. And I can do this infinite loop, quote unquote, by using this limit and then ending it right before like the final part of it. The final part would like send him away and give him enough time to get away. But if I use the second to last part, then there's enough hit stun where I can reset it and do another limit, and I just do that the entire time until he's dead. And that just completely skips the DM that they're supposed to be doing in the first place.
Which, to note, it's actually kind of a risky strat, because if you miss it, you'll run out of your drive gauge right there, which means you'll lose the like Super Saiyan form, the limit.
And he will also DM if he gets out of it, which means that you'll have to go. You'll lose the time that you took to set up that DM skip, and then the DM itself will also take up time. So.
Yeah, it still saves about 10 seconds, which is not a small amount of time, but it's sometimes when you kind of balance the fact that this is, this isn't a 30-minute game we're talking about. We're talking about a 4-hour game where you're lucky to even get to this point in the run. And sometimes you might just say, oh, screw the 10 seconds with how hard this might be. But yeah, another little specific I'd like to point out about this fight, just another little thing to kind of incorporate the depth of the strategies, is you'll see as he goes into limit form, before he starts using the first big combo on him, he actually throws up an ether. Each of the combos actually costs a certain amount of MP. And what's happening is, because the animation of the ether takes so long, anyone who plays these games knows that items take forever to actually take effect. We actually use that to our advantage in this fight, because you're throwing the ether, starting the limit, so you lose half your MP, but
and then you get it all back when the ether actually hits.
You get it all back. Exactly, allowing us to have 3 combos instead of 2 there. So if it took immediate effect, then we couldn't do that, and the strategy just would not work, actually. So, yeah, just another fun little specific to making these fights work. So, but yeah, and again, yeah, just to plug again real quick, just to check out Bloody's tutorials. They're actually really good for learning this game. And you can see he goes into a lot of depth with a lot of the fights, because there are a lot of specifics. It's more than just jumping and attacking. So. All
right. Well, you can link his tutorials in the, or a play if there's a playlist of them, or the channel,
there's
something
a playlist.
like that.
Yeah, you got a big playlist. There's like 100 videos.
Yeah, please do.
But,
yeah, I'll go for it.
The next one is another one. It's just, it's a mind-blowing strat more than anything. It shows off another summon that we didn't start using until actually pretty late in the game, it feels like, in Kingdom Hearts 2 speedrunning. It's actually the next boss fight. His name is Psyx. And we find out that Peter Pan's actually a little better than you would have thought. Bloody, you want to explain what the hell is happening here?
Yeah, give me a second. I was going through the playlist. Anyway, so basically, when you combo enemies, okay, if you summon Peter Pan and you combo enemies, Peter Pan will also combo them with you, basically. Like, he'll hit them along with you, and it'll like create a combo between the two of you. And the idea is, Peter Pan's dagger has a lot of hit stun, and it just so happens that Syax's like retaliation, like here. Okay, so this is the big thing. I'm literally just hitting the guy over and over again, and he's not doing a single thing. And the reason why it even works is that, like, as I was saying, revenge value after you hit an enemy a certain amount of times, they're supposed to get out of it. But this guy's retaliation to get out of it has a slow startup, and he's not invincible during it, to the point where Peter Pan's dagger, which has so much hit stun, can give you enough stun to start up an air combo, land on the ground, and do it again until you can do another one, and you just keep him in this loop, and he's just dead, basically, at that point. The start of the fight is like, you do a specific combo just for more damage. That's the only reason that you do it, so that it's like it saves a few seconds, but you can like literally start up the fight, go through this RC part, summon Peter Pan, and just hit him like this the entire fight, and he will die, basically. That's how exploited this boss fight is, basically. It's pretty crazy.
It kind of has to do, and again, it kind of goes back to probably a lot of people watch a fight like this, and they're like, well, why don't you just do that the whole time? I mean, it's relatively slow, and it only really works, again, because of how this boss, physically, his sprite just falls, or not sprite, but his model falls on the ground, his startup time, that just doesn't work for, there's only one other boss in the game where we actually utilize Peter Pan for this type of strat. But again, it just kind of leads once again to all the fights have their own sort of unique strategies. Every boss is completely different. You have a different way it works. So yeah, pretty cool. And I believe I have one more in here that has to do with Kingdom Hearts 2 FM Critical. I want to say I threw in Xemnas 1. I could be, or not.
Oh, it's there.
Final Xemnas. Yeah. Yes. It looks like. So, and my main reason for this, well, it's another just like cool looking fight, but it kind of shows, I think, the history of KH2 and its nerfing system. So I guess I'll explain a little bit about this. In the original Kingdom Hearts 2 that was released in Japan, take just the move Reflect, the magic ability you have, which you're seeing right here utilized at the beginning of this fight. It's the Reflect looking thing. Yeah. You know, the thing that looks like a reflect, you would be called that. In the original KH2J, this does absolute crap damage. From what I understand, I've never played it myself.
It's pretty sad.
Yeah, and so when they made KH2 US, even just the change from there, they were like, oh well, we want people to use this, so they made it a viable option. It gets used a little bit here. For whatever reason, they nerfed a lot of other things, and they made Reflect so overpowered. So right there in that first wave of the fight specifically, and you'll also see in the laser section in the third wave of the fight, there's a lot of usage of Reflect. Bloody, if you want to get into specifics, I guess, of it, I mean, I guess it really kind of explains itself, but yeah, really just tons of specifics of like where you're going to use it, where you're going to just dodge his attacks, when you're going to get the best amount of damage. I think it's just a really slick looking section as well.
Yeah, the idea of the opening is, well, he actually has an opening animation where he throws you into the air. If you use Reflect, it'll actually skip that animation and go straight into the rest of the, I don't know what you want to call it. I guess we'll just call it reversal thingamabob. That's a good name. Sure. I think that's fitting.
Yeah, the thing where you're flying through the air.
The thing where you're flying through the air and you're dodging all these attacks and you're just spamming the crap out of triangle. Basically, if you throw in some reflects into that and then you use triangle to keep yourself safe, he'll trigger the reflect and will also, the damage will be dealt to him, as you can see like right here. So you just do that for the first half of the fight and you can take off like 1 to 2 bars of HP just from reflect alone. And then right here, if like at a certain amount of health, you'll want to do this thing where you can trigger it again, and of course doing reflect, and that's the ending sequence, of course, of the fight. But yeah, you do all those reflects to skip other sections of the end game of the fight, I guess. Like he's supposedly supposed to be shooting lasers at you, and he's also supposed to trap Sora, and you're supposed to take control of Riku in order to save Sora, essentially. Mm-hmm. But you can skip both of those things by again, like using stuff like revenge value and then like popping in an elixir and then reflecting to go through the reflect section again and deal all that damage to him to get him to a certain amount of HP where he activates this end part and the fight is basically over. So it's crazy.
Yeah, that kind of gets into something. I guess we've been talking so much about just revenge values, DM skips, but it's also a lot of that is just knowing the very basics of, all right, at this health bar, these are the options, the tools that this boss will be using. So we know right here, we want to get him once he gets to 4 bars of health left, he's going to start using these lasers. Well, we want to make that section as short as possible. So we want to try to essentially get him to right above the 4 health bar mark, and then push him as far past that mark as possible so that we can then, again, make that laser section as short as possible. There's a lot of, like, that's like the very basic stuff, obviously, that you learned, we were learning back in, like, 2006. And then obviously things became more sophisticated with stuff like revenge values and whatnot. But it's always, that's just another piece of knowledge you need to keep hold of. If you're looking into speedrunning this game or just want knowledge in general of it, is knowing, all right, it's always at about 2 1/3 health bars or whatever it might be that he's going to start doing this. So I want to not leave him in that chunk of health bar. I just want to completely push him past it. So...
Yeah,
knowing all the moves and knowing how to react to them is a big portion of every fight, but this fight especially, because he has one move that if you don't react to it will kill you in 1 hit. So you can go through, you could do all your reflects and everything, get a ton of damage on him, and then just die in 1 hit because you weren't prepared for the move that he used out of the 4 or so that are available to him at the time. Yeah. So lots of stuff to keep track during each boss fight.
For sure. So I think that actually does it for the 2FM critical, like the standard runs. I want to say the next one I have is actually Data Roxas.
Yep.
I believe so, yes. So I might actually just kick it over to J Hobz and Bloody if you both kind of want to tag team this one. Because I know, Bloody, this is one of, if not your favorite fights, and J Hobz, you know it pretty well yourself.
Oh, I love this fight.
All right.
Yeah. So I get, and we also, you should also explain, I guess, just a little bit about what the data fights actually are for people who don't know.
Right. So the data fights are basically the super bosses. They're like extra content at the end of the game in like this secret area that was not in the US version. And as you can see, like, the dude's health bar is, like, gigantic, and his hits do, like, way more damage. So that's kind of the idea of what the datas are. It's the entire Organization 13, if you know the story behind it.
They're the 13 bad guys, yeah.
13 bad guys wearing the cloaks and stuff.
I guess the obsession with that number goes back further than I thought it did.
Yeah. So it's just the super boss version of them. So this fight is basically get past the first phase, and you can actually force this reaction command where you steal the boss's keyblades and use them for yourself. And it puts you in this state where you do like residual damage with the extra keyblades. And you can also loop him like this. It literally looks like I'm just... Or I think this is either made by Axons or
I
think
this
else.
is I think this is Axons video I pulled from. Yeah.
It literally looks like you're just beating the crap out of him and he's not doing a single thing, but it's kind of like more basics of revenge value where you do a certain amount of hits, then he's going to shoot lasers at you, and then you use something that keeps you invincible and also does damage to him, and you just loop him like this for the whole fight, and then he just falls, and it's crazy.
Yeah. And I don't think we mentioned it, but you saw how much health he had right there. Sora's at level 1. In order to, we have an arbitrary category that ended up getting a ton of steam behind it, and went from an estimate of 2 hours, and it's all the way down to 30 minutes now. But basically, you go through the entire game at level 1, beat all of the optional stuff, and have to do a lot of synthesis grinding to get all this equipment, just so that you can fight these 13 super bosses at level 1. And really there's 14 kind of because of
there's a two-parter.
Because Xemnas has 2 parts in it, yeah. So you have to fight them all at level 1. Party members die practically instantly. Not all the fights have party members, so each boss itself has like very unique strats because you have to come up with strats or you're going to die. Almost any boss will kill you in one hit, even with really strong equipment. And so it's a really cool category. It looks really flashy. It's really short, and it really lets all the strats come out, and it's really execution based too. Most, the entire game is, but especially here, it's just straight up fight a boss, do the strat right, move on to the next one. Maybe equip it.
It's the ultimate boss rush category.
Yeah, it's we got to do it at AGDQ, which was fantastic.
Yeah, I got an amazing response. They didn't die once. It's crazy.
Bloody went for the man strat that we had come up with like a day before, hours before or something.
Yeah, do you guys want to explain what that man strat is at the very beginning of the fight? Yeah.
Basically, at the beginning of this fight, Roxas opens with a circular attack. Now,
it one-shots
that attack
you as well.
It will one-shot you. You ordinarily would guard or reflect it in order to not be hit by it, but
you can
actually have an ability. Yeah, you have an ability that will effectively teleport Sora really short range. It's called Flash Step, and it will actually parry the attack and simultaneously move you closer to the boss and attack him. So it saves about 1 second,
a second,
second and a half, something like that. And basically, as a joke to Bloody in the practice room while he was getting ready, I said, "Well, why don't you just do that every time he uses that move instead of only in the opening combo? It would save a second each time." And the reason this is such a big joke is because it is incredibly deadly. you were very, very easily die. It's incredibly risky, incredibly stupid to do, and Bloody went for it, and it was fantastic. So I just got to give him props for going and doing that.
Absolutely.
Spike, you should have linked the Larxene strat, but oh well, it's okay.
Oh, the Larxene strat? Yeah, I know. I was throwing these together so fast.
I got you.
Core absolutely should have been a part of these as well. The biggest thing I can recommend also is you should definitely check out Bloody's also got world record in this category. So Bloody, if you have time, if you want to go ahead and link that, and if Asa wants to link his core RTA, there's lots of just like really cool extra speed stuff you can do in this game. Extra content besides just the normal like 80% or even 100% categories. So I think that's all we have for Cage 2 for now in the highlight reel, just kind of give you a taste of like all the boss fights and everything. I believe the next fight is actually called 1.5.
There is one thing actually. We're kind of running out of time on this. We've gone over by half an hour. So that's fine because we were slightly less than focused at the start. So I can give you guys like
we're perfectly on track.
I can give you maybe 2. If you got 5 or 6 left, you can grab 2 and we can be succinct about it.
Okay, let's do this one and the last one. Okay, so J-Hobz, I'll let you explain this one. We got Dragon Mal on Big Go.
This fight is literally my favorite fight in the entire speedrun. Basically, you have this dragon version of the main evil boss Maleficent throughout most of the game anyways, and it does a lot of damage. She will kill you very easily. Everybody, when they played this game casually, had a hard time with this boss. I know people who literally hid in the corner and let the party members deal damage and die over and over and over again for 30 minutes until the boss was at 1 HP, and then they would go kill the boss because they tried over and over to fight Dragon Maleficent casually and would just die. So this is my favorite strat because we completely destroy her. In KH1, we've said it before that most people think, oh, it's just jump and mash X. Well, we have this great ability called Stop, or this great spell called Stop at our disposal, and it turns out that Stop tends to work on a lot of bosses, unlike in something like a Final Fantasy run. I know Stop generally does not work on some of the later bosses.
There's always one. There's always one.
But
there's always one undead boss that takes it.
Yeah. Oh, there's one guy that's weak against Stop or something, and is
Yeah, exactly. Well, we have a lot of bosses that are weak against Stop, but this is the most impressive one, and this fight is incredibly technical because you have to jump to use your magic in order to reduce animation frames.
It's a jump cancel
when you land. Effectively, yeah. You jump cancel your animation, or your magic animation, and then do 4 aerial hits to do a full combo, and then an extra aerial hit on top of that, while also using Stop again as you're falling. So it's really technical. You have to jump between your combos very quickly, and if you mess up once, the fight goes to shit. So it's like it's my favorite strat in the game. It looks so cool. Anybody who's played the game before knows exactly how horrible this boss can be, and we reduce it down to a 30-second fight. There's not too much more to say about it than that, really. It's just a fantastic strat. Oh, and we actually have to change the items we're using and or the equipment we're using, and we have a Mega Elixir in our inventory that you actually have to also micromanage during the fight. At a very specific point. You can't just throw the Mega Elixir willy-nilly. You actually have to make sure you get every single hit in, and on the very last stop when you run out of MP, you have to throw the Mega Elixir. And there's also HP gates in there that you or stop maximum stop time. We're not sure which it is. Those are in there that you have to worry about. Make sure you actually let her break out for a split second. So it's just a really cool fight overall.
Yeah. So yeah, that's Dragon Maleficent. Again, I brought that up also because it's, like Hobz was saying, one of those fights that everyone hated when they were a kid. It just took forever to fight her. You probably were dying all the time, or at least taking a lot of time. And yeah, this absolutely, the fact that she's weak to this blows a lot of people's minds. It's definitely the biggest like mind blower of KH 1.5. The other mind blower is the category that a bunch of us run. It's Proud Mode. If you want to jump to the last video, it should be Ansem 1. Yes, here it is. Okay, I literally threw this together like this morning because I couldn't find a good video of this. Okay, so there is an abuse that Hobz was talking about in Kingdom Hearts 1.5. They threw in an ability called EXP 0. Now, EXP 0 is an ability that, as it sounds like, you don't gain any EXP from a fight. However, they wanted to balance it basically allowed people, like in Kingdom Hearts 2, because there was an EXP 0 in that game. It said, hey, you can do a level 1 run. You can stay on level 1 and play through the whole game. Problem is, KH1 was not originally designed to have that. So there's a lot of hidden exploits, I guess, that you can utilize with EXP 0. The number one we're using is we call it damage storage. It's more accurately known as multiplier storage. So every attack you do has some sort of multiplier behind it. Every single attack. So almost like, imagine Ocarina of Time damage, not damage storage, but
power crouch stab.
Power crouch stab, where you're going to store the last attack, whatever you dealt. So you'll do like a jump attack, and then you'll do power crouch stab, which just doesn't have any value, and it just gets the last thing you did. It's a very similar thing here, where it takes the multiplier on this aerial finisher that I'm doing right there at the start of the fight. Then I'm going to summon Mushu, which is one of the summons in the game, who does this constant damage. Normally it's like pew, pew, pew. It might do like a third of a health bar to him, and then he leaves. It's just a big waste of an animation. However, the multiplier from that aerial finisher you just did is now being applied to Mushu for whatever unknown reason. And now you're doing absolute god damage to them. Normally this fight is one of the worst fights on like a beginner mode run, because you see the terrain you're on is terrible. You're constantly having to dodge around his little guardian that's right behind
chase him down all the time. He floats around. Yeah. It's hard to get him. It's stupid. It's everybody's least favorite fight in the run for sure on beginner.
Yeah. Whereas here, and it's the same sort of principle as Kingdom Hearts 2. You think, why don't we just use this everywhere? Because you have to give up EXP, and you can only use summons when you have 2 other party members. For a lot of the late game, they take Donald and Goofy away from you. So if we just left EXP 0 on the entire time, when we got to those fights, they would take far longer than the time you would save on other boss fights. So there's about 5 fights, I believe, we end up using this on in the run, and this is probably the best example of it. Literally, it takes a fight that gave people a lot of fits, usually takes multiple minutes to kill this guy, and we're taking him out in about 30-40 seconds. So that's the closest thing we probably have to a glitch, I guess you could say, in the main like Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 speedrunning. But it's definitely a mind blower for a lot of people. A lot of people, when they watch us do this fight, or do the fights in general where we utilize this, they go, oh man, I didn't know summons were so OP. I didn't know that I should have been using them the whole time. It's not the summons that are overpowered. You just pull it out, it's going to do absolute chip damage. It's utilizing it in conjunction with this weird mechanic this hidden mechanic with EXP0 that surely is not intentional, that allows us to do that. So, and there's other cool stuff. You guys should go watch strat videos. Go ahead, J Hobz.
Well, it looks like we got the next video, but just real quick on that last thing. Some people have thought it's intended. We're fairly certain it's not, because on top of needing to do this finisher and then it only applying to magic and summons, you also can't use any of the ability finishers, like any of the extra ability finishers. You actually have to use the stock finisher. So this is why it's another kind of example of like 1.5 or KH1 was not geared towards a level 1 run. But we're fairly certain it was not an intended exploit. It looks like, I guess, we had time for one more.
Well, I'm just playing the random clips that we have left while you guys are,
we don't really
out of it.
I'd love to keep going with it, but I need to sleep at some point.
Yeah.
But we will wrap it up.
Keep it up.
We will wrap it up. So there's a few more things. Firstly, this is a personal question, guys.
Oh, sex.
Ooh,
Should I play Kingdom Hearts 1 first?
Yes.
It should.
Yeah. Honestly,
because if you play KH2 first, you will be confused by the story, which you will be anyways, so that's fine. But you will enjoy the combat more, and then you'll go to KH1
and you'll be
say,
like, this game sucks.
Yeah. Right. Which is not to say, KH1 does not suck, but KH2 obviously has the superior combat. They learned their lesson basically with the first game. They made a lot of adjustments, and in my opinion, pretty much every single one of them was an improvement. So in the first game has the better story, usually it's regarded as, and also it's still confusing as all hell, but the better story and also a little bit weaker combat, but incredibly fun game. Definitely go with KH1 first.
Okay, get the 2 HD versions.
I would say so.
Yes.
I mean, at least
just
the
casual. The casual for now.
Casually,
Oh
I
yeah,
think
absolutely.
Get those,
2.5 has some like kind of ridiculous load times and also have a few minor glitches we really wish they would have fixed before shipping it out. But for casual play, it's totally fine. There's nothing game breaking except for in the BBS runs, as we're seeing a clip of right here. But it's definitely fine casually.
Yeah, that's fine, because this has happened to be the second week in a row where I really want to play the game we did. Blind race Castle of Illusion last week, so I'm probably not going to blind race all the Kingdom Hearts games.
Illusion or the HD?
Another question.
The HD one.
Necessary or no?
the HD one.
Do you recommend HD? Is it fun or?
It's a fun blind race.
Okay.
I'd put it that way. It was pretty fun, but there was pits will either kill you or reward you, and I didn't like that. You either fall in the pit and die, or you fall in the pit and get a load of presents.
It's just like real life.
Just like real, yeah. And then it was fine until like the last stage annoyed me, and the last boss annoyed the hell out of Bangera, but I was fine with it. So anyway, more importantly, after my little question there, did you guys have 3 tips of how? Because I mean, I'm not just saying this. Like, I'm listening to everything you said, and it sounds a lot like what I was bitching to Adam about, that not enough games have for speedruns, like variety and tactics and strats and everything. So do you have tips for how to learn? I mean, I guess Kingdom Hearts in general would be the way to go for it. We usually do 3, and there's 3 of you, so try not to tread on each other's toes here. Yeah.
Number 1 tip I would say is these are long games. There's a reason why a lot of people are jumping on BBS Aqua Crit right now, the last strat video you just saw, because it's such a short category. It's like an hour, 10 to 20 minute category if you're very good. Even if you're bad like me, it's still going to be under 2 hours. But the majority of them are multiple hours long. The biggest thing I would recommend is breaking the game up into chunks. And the number 1 way I've seen people practice the game is actually to break it up into the individual worlds, which it kind of conveniently does. So just say, okay, today I'm just going to learn Agrabah. And then later on, when I want to, instead of just like doing no reset runs all the time or just like going through the whole game, because we're talking about multiple hours here, just do an Agrabah run. and just say, okay, make splits for every different little fight or event in Agrabah, and then just go until you feel happy with your time there, and then say, all right, now I'm going to do Halloween Town, or I'm going to do Hollow Bastion, I'm going to do the final dungeon, whatever it might be. I think breaking the game up into smaller chunks, which is a general rule I have for a lot of games, but especially one as long as this, will keep you sharp at the entire game, as opposed to what happens to a lot of speedrunners with a lot of games, where you're strong at the first half of the game, possibly, but then you're resetting and you never see the late game. So that would be my #1 tip for anyone wanting to get into Kingdom Hearts speedrunning.
Bloody, you want to go with yours?
Actually, I want to save mine for last. I want to hear what you got to say, Hobz.
Okay. I guess my tip would be to come to the community. We are like very, very accepting of new runners. We have, a TeamSpeak channel. There's usually at least 5 people hanging out in the entire time, and as many as 25 to 50 if you're on an AGDQ watch party. But basically, I've always said this to anybody who asks me in my stream, about learning 1.5. PM me. Come in my chat and ask me questions. And if I see somebody streaming who's doing their first run or doing early runs, I'll often pop in and ask them if they need some help and help them out. So come into the community, check in with us. We have notes and resources, but as we've kind of mentioned before, so much of a lot of these games is about adapting, and it's about knowing the different scenarios, which kind of comes with experience, but can somewhat be explained. So talking to people who have run the game, talking to people who know it inside and out, who have come up with strats. I mean, Riz can explain virtually every single fight in 2FM because he came up with virtually every single strat in 2FM, and not to diss Bloody here, obviously. And so it's just it's great. We got a great community, very accepting. Nobody's gonna be like, oh, who's this dick who's PMing me, asking me questions and stuff. Why doesn't he go figure it out on his own?
If that dick is someone who is me, they might think.
Well, shit.
Shit on the dick, dude. Shit.
But yeah, I mean, just go to the community, talk to us, PM us. Where everybody's pretty cool about it. Sure. I love answering questions in my chat. I don't even care if I get the same questions 50 times a day. I love to answer why do you use Blizzard on Jafar once? I love answering things and talking about the fights, and half the reason why I'm on here. So definitely ask us questions.
I guess what I see most for people who are interested in running these games and ask questions what are the notes, what's world record and stuff like that, and people that are just kind of interested in getting into it is what you probably want to do is just my advice is do a blind run of the game, and you don't even have to time it or anything
Not
like that.
Not at once, right?
Sorry, what?
Not in one go, right?
Well, no, I mean, maybe.
Do it in one go.
Well, yeah, you could do it in one go. You could do it in chunks, but play the game and have it fresh in your mind. And then the next step would be watch someone's run, or as Spike and Hobz have been saying, ask questions and look at the person's run and make your own personal notes. Okay, so this menu right here is this. Equip this, this, and this, or sell this and buy this. And then for the boss strat, it could be okay, so he hits this guy X amount of times and then goes into this dry form and then uses this limit or something of the sort. And then and we also make our own notes to make it easier, easily accessible to run. But I think the best way to make notes is take those notes and make your own personal adjustments. I see this fight this way, or I kind of want to break it down so it's not so complicated. So make your get the run or get the game fresh in your mind, make your own notes, kind of watch what the general strats are, and then just kind of go from there. People can you can either just do no reset runs, or you can do what Spike says and work on IL runs until you feel you're ready for the whole RTA. But just kind of keep the game fresh in your mind and just kind of keep hammering away at it, and you'll kind of see improvement slowly over time, and it'll be really, really fulfilling and fun and speedrunning. I love it. Yay.
Nice.
Yay.
Cool. Lovely. That wraps up Kingdom Hearts. Despite Bloody Biscuits, yeah, that's That's well, I feel like it's not anywhere near close to all of it, but
No, it's
a some of it. It's a taster. You should all be, your appetite should
really
be
champing at the bit.
truly wet. Yeah.
Did we mention
something like that?
like the leaderboards where people can go for
Oh
information?
yeah,
and stuff?
link that. Link your website. You can throw it in the
go
chat.
for it.
We also if we could also make like one more shameless plug is the tournament that we are starting literally like
let's
at
do that,
midnight tonight basically is when
Oh, boy.
it's like available. So we talked about a category, or Spike mentioned it, Aqua Critical Mode, where it's the shortest. The world record is like an hour 11 minutes right now, and it's quickly getting faster and faster. And basically, since it's so short and easy to learn, we're having a community-wide tournament where we pair each other up in this big bracket, and then they do a race. The winner will continue on. It's double elimination, so if you lose 2 races, then you'll be eliminated. And it's just this big, gigantic community-wide race. Right now, we have 25 entrants so far, and it looks like I think it's going to be closed up at midnight tonight. So I'm probably throw that into the chat as well, the bracket. But yeah, this is going to be, if you see like a lot of like tournament matches or something like that, or a lot of people like running this category, then you'll probably see why. It's because we're doing this gigantic tournament, and it has.
That's pretty interesting. I'm not sure I've seen a tournament racing the same thing.
Yeah,
and the Asa twins and I will be doing commentary on some of the matchups. So
No neat.
Nice.
Yeah, should be good.
Well played.
Fantabulous. Okay. Great. Kingdom Hearts. Now I really want to play Kingdom Hearts, which I didn't think had happened. My friend from secondary school, when he finds out that now I want to play it, is going to be very angry at me.
After all these years.
All these years.
Son of a-
And all it took was speedrunners to persuade me. And he'd always say, play this. And when I'd go to his house, he'd be on like a 40-minute gummy ship thing. And I'd be like, this just doesn't look good. And he's like, no, I promise you, this isn't the normal game. Is that Donald Duck? Yeah, it is. But no, I'm not interested. Let's do something else.
I remember submitting my 424 to you guys, what had to be 100 episodes ago. And it was probably literally 100 episodes ago. And it was on, and you guys were like, oh, dude, this commentary he gave with it, this little thing, it's so good. And you were like, yeah, it's good, because this game is shit. You were so against. I was like, oh, he's a Devil May Cry buff. He's probably like... It's that only dumb. So.
I'm not allowed to.
I'm glad you're coming over to the dark side. I'm glad you're going to play the game.
Well,
so.
we'll see. We'll see.
Maybe. Might have to type.
All right. We're gonna do records now.
Yeah,
let's do records. All of you guys are more than welcome to stick around. There's the link thrown in there. We learn from our mistakes.
Guy.
If you guys know anything about any of these games, please jump in. I'm sure you guys are confident.
We know
and full
every speedrun
all of
of
it.
so don't worry.
Good. Well, are there any?
These
Good
guys
question.
are frick heroes.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, 50 Cent, Blood on the Sand.
Yeah. So.
I forgot that was a video game. Oh my god.
I think the game forgot it was a video
wait,
game
you
too.
forgot it was a game? You clearly must have been watching our show.
This game didn't forget. Or,
All right.
Damn,
Bloody, where was your submitted Aqua Crit run?
Oh, well,
Yeah.
I remember
not on there,
submitting
is it?
something like a year ago, but
We've also had like way too many world records in the last week.
You didn't submit any of them, even though you knew you'd be on the show. Anyway,
What did you
a single tear.
speaking of disappointment, it's not though, because this game's actually really good.
Is it?
Oh, where are we going
Congrats
with
on your
this?
record.
Wow.
This is we're going straight into records. You guys don't even know. You don't even have a chance to react. But it's
Fast
Englishman's
blast
back.
speed runs.
Englishman is back. 50 Cent Blood on the Sand. It's 121.50. Says he's reloading this game for the Speedrunning Expo Marathon in March, which I believe is in Michigan. Is that right?
Michigan.
Michelin,
I don't know. This
something
is the
like
first I've
that.
heard of it.
Yeah, and it says that as D-Ross go, I suppose this could have been worse. You can expect a sub 120 shop a little later on. Hashtag that bitch took my skull, which is something that 50 says multiple times.
Yes.
Right.
Spike, you've met the Englishman, right?
Yeah.
Do you think this game is the least thing like him on the planet?
It's just, I know. I've never, like, I got into knowing this guy from Rayman Origins. Literally, this like la la la, like just.
He also runs
everything's
Happy
dancing.
Mickey, Epic
Yeah,
Mickey.
he runs. Yeah, Epic Mickey. He's all these like cute, fluffy games.
I just want to imagine him as like a 14-year-old going into the shop and being like, "Mom, I want a 50-cent game." And playing this as like a kid, like in front of his TV. Like, that's all
Look, this
I want.
game has a dedicated upgradable swearing button. You can't beat this. It's fantastic.
Excuse me, I'll be right back. I'm going to Amazon.
Yeah, so that is right there.
We're going to swear level
Why?
3.
Oh, good. We're blind racing this tomorrow. Sounds great.
It's seriously you dedicated button and then upgrade it with more swearing and better swearing.
Blind race with Blood in the Sand, man. That could be a thing.
That could catch on. A weekly? Anyone on for a weekly?
Well, I don't know. I was thinking TSSB versus Final Split.
Oh,
wow.
Let's go.
Why is this not actually a thing?
Why isn't it a thing?
You guys have like Feasel and PJ and you got Duckfist. And,
Right,
you know,
we're playing
you've got Golden
games like
yeah,
that.
we know what you're trying to say.
You can barely beat
that big ass ramp.
All right.
Perfect.
We got 2 Alien Swarm games, and PJ's going to demonstrate his knowledge of swarming it with aliens
Chat seems
by
to
reading
like
these 2.
Yeah.
I sure am. All right, so Onan has two runs here. One on PC region, and the other PC pal.
That's the region.
PC.
Right. So, anyways, so the first is Sewer Junction Brutal Solo IL in 106. He says, basically perfect movement without hiccups, shaved 3 seconds off my previous record and 2 seconds off the actual record. This is the only level left without any fancy tricks, aside from the off-screen barrel shot, though there is a bit of RNG to work around. 105 might be possible by taking a much riskier turn at the beginning, but it might not even save a full second. And he doesn't even know how the timer treats decimals.
Sick.
Oh, wait, I think I played this. Isn't this a free game?
Yeah, it's free on Steam.
Yeah. Yeah, I played this game before.
Okay, this is actual blind race material then. Good.
yeah, because I looked up 50 cent. It's like $55.
Wait, really?
Yeah, it's not easy to track.
What a rare video game, apparently.
That's a premium, man.
No, because it's like $360.
Yeah.
All right, and the next one.
And the next one is Timer Station, Brutal Solo IL in 303, also by Onan. He says, a new OOB route found by Bounty saves 5 seconds at the start and allows for a slightly riskier route towards the end, netting a total save of 8 seconds. The hack RNG could always be more perfect, but this is solid. So, better or worse way to submit ILs than an entire table at once?
Well, 2 is okay.
He had asked before, I think.
He did.
yeah.
We gave him an
Which was-
answer, but
which was
he ignored
way.
it.
Well, I'm glad you asked.
Thanks
It's
for
always
asking.
nice. It's when someone asks you a question, it's like, it's great that you asked, but we did answer above you. But you know, that's fine. Now,
Look, I'm giving him a break for submitting a PC region. That's
the
the
PC
Yeah.
region.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pacific
That's-
Coast, maybe.
Pacific Coast region. I know California wants to be its own country, but it's not quite that bad. Oh boy.
Hey, here's
now,
last.
yeah,
Go ahead.
Fiesel, did you do the whole of this highlight?
No,
he requested?
you can move on to the.
We can move on.
next
All right.
one.
Okay. Now this is an SMS game, but it's also incredibly pun-based. So, Gilda, you're dying. I know you love your terrible puns.
I am
So,
not.
yeah, go for it.
It's Bonkers Wax Up, Sega Master System 80%. 2659 by Crazy Rasmus. He says, me and the guys did a blind racer this Monday, and we discovered that you can clip into any wall by jumping backwards into it and therefore scale the wall. Fantastic.
Wow.
This led into getting to boss rooms quicker, allowing us to skip a couple of levels. Later, I figured out that you can screen wrap just about any enemy, including bosses. So instead of going to the boss, I make the boss come to me. This game is super broken, no shit, and surprisingly fun. This run is improvable by a couple of minutes with a more optimized route and better.
Minutes. It's always a good sign when you've got a 27-minute game and it's like minutes can come off of this.
Normally it would be a little bit upset. Yeah, I'm trying to watch.
Yeah,
I haven't seen any.
Why are we featuring this? But this is hilarious looking.
But
Why
when
is there
the description is like that, we understand. I think that's the boss. I think that's the boss.
That was
in the
it.
middle of the level. Yeah,
Boss
that was
right
it.
The end. That's the end of the game.
That was the boss. That was the boss, just chilling out in the middle of the stage.
Yep, and he had to flip into the wall to hit her.
All right. Diablo. Now. Hobz or BB, have either of you played this game?
I've played
I've
about
heard of
5
it.
minutes of Diablo 3.
Okay. Well, you're
That's
perfectly
perfect.
qualified
So-
then to read this this one, Diablo.
All right, I got you. Possessed Warrior says for the any percent no negative HP,
Negative.
or is it just
Yeah, that's it. That's right.
No
See,
negative
you know, you're an
HP
expert
category.
already.
Yeah,
Expert
man, no
already.
problem. It's on the PC. U.S. region. But he says, got bopped by 16 seconds, so I bopped back by 90. Bad shop RNG in the beginning, floors equal to PB through 12, slightly better shop luck the second time around, and then the best hell that will ever happen. That is now a guaranteed. That is now a guaranteed 30-second time loss. I recently discovered that turning in-game sound effects off skips the audio cutscenes of the Warlord of Blood and Lazarus. Warlord of Blood didn't spawn this run, but it saves me a few seconds on Lazarus. I don't know if I'm crazy enough to try beating this. 45 seconds could come off the first buy phase without too much problem, but that will disappear fast with a worse dungeon. It should take a lot of grinding to come close to that luck again. So 14 minutes and 3-second record, and 45 seconds can apparently come off.
Yeah, that's the no negative HP thing, so you actually have to kind of not die rather than be invincible. I also, for your enjoyment at home, left the Diablo's death animation in it because I always just found that absolutely hilarious. Where he's waving his hands in the air, like, and without sound, without like the screams and the dialogue and the music and everything, it's really just looks like a kid who's fallen in a lake or something. Like, it's like in the shallow end of a pool that can still stand up, waving his hands, asking to be rescued. I just find it very funny. He's obviously burning to death and he's evil on that, but I thought it's different. It's just sort of like, help.
Still, that's a really crazy time.
Help. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that is Diablo. I don't get how anyone could run those.
I mean, it's only 14 minutes long.
Well, or is it? Or is it an hour long? You get bad RNG.
Yeah,
All right.
exactly.
We have Fez. This is PC 80% clockless on the version 1.11 version, or version 1.11 rather. This is 2856 by Gu, who says, going sub 29 was a big goal I wanted to reach after some new route changes were found and strats were discovered. So I'm really happy that I finally reached this milestone. Sorry, I thought that sentence was going to end like 3 times. However, I thought that I would be totally done with this category, but Juikuen, that'll do, just found a new big route change that could save approximately 10 seconds or even more, so I have to get back on track. Oh, see, this didn't end either, so I have to get back on track. So version 1.7, which is still faster but crazier, we'll have to wait a bit more. Right, I got it.
Yeah, you got it.
God damn it, English.
I was waiting. I keep waiting for a period.
All right, here we go. Check this one out. This is Final Fantasy Bl00dyBizkitz BBFF Alliteration Best Friends for Life. This one's for you, Bl00dyBizkitz. Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy?
Yeah.
Give me a quick second.
So we don't have any Final Fantasy runners here, so you're the expert.
Yep.
Well,
Oh,
yeah, actually, I did just remember.
Oh, it's so sad. It's so sad because as much as I love Kingdom Hearts, I've given Final Fantasy like 1 try, and I was just like, not too much. But
It's
maybe
funny how many people in the Kingdom Hearts community have not touched the Final Fantasies, believe it or not. But
it's
I
a
know
weird little phenomenon.
I have watched a clip of Tidus laughing so many times. I find that, worth it.
And no one knows what he's laughing about.
I'm sorry. I mean, ha ha ha.
Well, actually, if you guys understood, he's laughing because he's trying to teach Yuna that she shouldn't let things in life get to her. It's
No,
about
I
how
actually did
inside.
get that part after seeing
Yeah.
Hey, Diesel,
I have
maybe...
Let's talk about this Final Fantasy.
Yeah, Diesel,
great
let's
idea.
talk about
Let's
something.
actually talk about this.
Because something actually happened this week that's actually important
I
here.
keep forgetting about that you know about Final Fantasy extension.
Yeah, let's have Diesel talk about it.
Okay,
Diesel,
well,
you
why
should
don't
go.
I first go through and tell you what you're watching here. So this is Final Fantasy 1 for the NES. This is a Japanese version. Jair has got it down to 59:10, which is like 10 minutes, almost 10 minutes faster than the TAS was.
Yeah, so I just checked that the category was right. I was like, oh, it must be a different category.
No, that's actually any percent. So his comment here sort of explains this. He says, the run improves the previous record by 2 hours, 19 minutes using a variety of glitches.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was a 3+ hour run, and now it's down to, sub-hour.
Something I could.
Right, but as you might have expected, it's due to a staircase glitch. He says, walking on certain staircases 70 times with the right combination of character names and classes enables memory corruption and save corruption glitches. I start the game by glitching in all 4 orbs, the medicine used to obtain the Mystic Key, 500,000 experience points on one character, and make the game sometimes think another character is level 103. Just allow yeah.
Wait, sometimes.
Right.
Sometimes.
Well, I believe
it feels like.
Yeah, I believe he's doing it in battle. So the Chaos fight that you're seeing right now, he walks into that fight and Chaos immediately runs away. He doesn't kill Chaos. He doesn't even fight him. Just like there's a certain fear level. Once your level gets up above a certain point, it does this roll. Chaos just runs.
Oh my gosh, dude!
You're so powerful that chaos flees.
Right.
Wow.
Yep.
So yeah, this can also be done on the US version, but you can't do quite as much glitchy stuff on the US version. So that's why, as far as we know right now, to get a sub-hour run, you'd have to play on the Japanese version, which Jair is doing here. But so basically, you give the characters certain names and certain classes, and you can get code execution after overrunning the thing where it keeps track of what floor you're on, because there's a warp spell that takes you back to the previous floor. So if you just keep repeatedly going through staircases, it sort of overruns that and puts data on the stack in places where it can be interpreted as a as code or as a memory address to jump to. And so they're able to glitch in a lot of good stuff, like the orbs, which are the main thing you're supposed to obtain, and then a few other things that you need to beat the game. So you basically just do that and then get the Mystic Key, because that's the one thing you can't get from it, and you happen to need that for doing the final Temple of Fiends. You actually need the Mystic Key to open some of the doors in this dungeon, even though, sequence-wise, there's no reason you would be here without it, so they didn't need to add that restriction, but they did. And so that's another thing you have to do. And then you just go up to Chaos, and he runs away. Pretty cool.
Does that solve anything, though? Does that stop his reign of terror at all? He's just like, I won't do it again.
Well, I mean, it depends how far he
your
runs.
reign of terror begins now.
He feels.
Yeah.
Guess
You
who
can't even
made
go
chaos
into
on
it.
the way, bitches?
Can't even go to a shop to buy bread anymore because
Fear
the
the
bacon
reign of
is
the
away.
white mage.
Gyra does
die to
also
come
say Gyra also does say something very intriguing, which is that he's put together a route with an emphasis. That's a safe route. So there's a riskier route that has a 5 to 10% chance of success and could save at least another 10 minutes. So,
Wow.
Wow.
So I have to ask, how safe is this route from your knowledge, Fiesel? Because I know he's actually set to do this at RPG Limit Break. I imagine maybe they'll want him to do the regular route, but it's not like Final Fantasy has always been a very hostile marathon run.
Right.
I don't know how safe that is comparatively.
I think that, it's possible that you might lose at that final battle there, but I don't think this is an extremely risky run as far as I know, but I could be wrong. Having not attempted it myself, I actually couldn't tell you for sure.
Sure.
But yeah, this is sort of an early world record. I think this is the first one that has been done with this, with all these new glitches and everything in place here. So we'll have to see over the next week or 2 weeks or so what happens. And I imagine that the US version is going to get some attention as well with this new glitch.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe the boss runs away.
The task does that. The task.
Yeah, the task manages
the
to do
all-white
it.
mage task does that.
Oh, nice. All right. Another Final Fantasy from the first to the most recent of the main series. And wow, I guess 14 doesn't count. 13, Final Fantasy 13. Don't all that. That makes sense. It's Final Fantasy 13. This is PC, supposedly again PAL version, 80% in 521.50 by Maelstrom. This has been going pretty hard at this category for a while now. I'm finally over to the current PS3 record with the PC version. Overall, pretty good play. Only one major death, but some minutes to save in the first third of the run. Now the race is on for sub 520. So the PC saves a bit of time from loading and a bit of time from various lag things, but other things are a bit wonkier. So don't really know how comparable they are. But Maelstrom and Lude, Dolphin are going to improve that. And I really hope that either one or both of them does and stops playing, because I keep ending up watching 4 hours of this stream whenever it's on. And I'd really like it if I could go back to being productive. So
do you like FF13, or do you just find the speedrun of it fascinating? Because I've heard it is the best RPG speed game.
it's really cool for a lot of reasons. I wouldn't ever go and record saying it's the best, because that would be dangerous. Sure. People already are under the impression that I hate JRPGs without making that kind of statement wouldn't help my case, I don't think. But it's really cool and interesting for a lot of reasons. All the cutscene and extra text is all skipped over. And just the way the system works in that game, you become so powerful so quickly. And just the way it works is really interesting. And there's quite a bit of variety in how it works too. I've been super interested in it, but I don't think I would ever try and run it.
Sure.
It's fun though. It's really cool, and plus it's as long as the other Final Fantasies are in terms of content, but because you can skip there's no text skipping or cutscenes or anything to watch, you save a lot of time. And plus in the speedrun you don't have to do anything like listen to the characters speak or understand their story and anything, which kind of, for a lot of people, improves the game. You still hear Vanille squeak out advice every so often, but you can ignore it.
Now, Flicky, what are the region differences between the PAL version?
The PC PAL? I think the PC PAL version has more languages than the American version. The American one probably just has English and Spanish, if you guys even have Spanish. And we probably have a few weird European languages, crazy European languages in there, even though English is European.
I think an old friend of ours discovered that KH2 has a Spanish version, so honestly, it's just
With
Spanish
audio?
exclusive glitches. We need to discover it.
Do they have different audio? Do they have different VA? Because it's Disney, right?
Oh,
so they must.
Yeah,
Nice.
they do.
Dude, I can hear. I've always wanted to hear foreign language Donald Ducks.
Dude, make that your casual play. Play KH1 Spanish.
I want to do German Donald. Just part of me thinks that one of the Donalds is going to have a normal voice.
Like, I can do a Donald Duck impression. I don't think I could possibly speak German while doing it.
Yeah, just like a normal. I just really want one of the Donalds to have like an ordinary guy's voice.
Yeah.
I can finally correctly say, Donald, you Nazi fuck, and it'll actually make sense.
I just kind of want Donald just to say like, Sora, quick, get over here. We've got to get out of here quickly.
Funny enough, the
deadpan voice. Yeah, was ist los?
Japanese,
Ich bin da.
the Japanese community must have not enjoyed their own voice actors or something, because all of the director's cut editions actually use the English voices.
Oh my god! So do they have it the same way around there? When Japanese people play Western games, they're like, "No, I always play with the original English VA because it's so much better."
Well, I think it's more like Disney voice actors just sound natural, because that's where Disney started from in English. So they want to hear the more like genuine voice actors for the Disney worlds and such.
Yeah, makes sense.
Nagarero.
No.
All right. Now, some of you guys were thinking, man, that Final Fantasy really should have gone to Bloody Biscuits because of the whole alliteration thing. Well, don't worry, because there's Final Fight as well, which is also FF, which means Bl00dyBizkitz can take this as well. So here we go.
All right. So we have Final Fight here on the 360 on English. The goal is 1 CC clear. Does anybody here know what this goal means?
Credit.
Oh.
1 credit.
So it should just be 1 CC.
Yeah,
or
I think that's
clear.
like ATM machine kind of deal.
Yeah,
one clear. Yeah.
that's an automatic ATM machine right there.
Right.
It's pretty
Awesome. All right, so DK28 has it down to a 2442. He says, finally got a 1 CC clear for Final
You
Fight.
made the mistake again, look.
This is the Xbox Live version called Double Impact. Interesting. This game is a classic beat 'em up, although also very punishing. All enemies are 100% random in what they do and how they attack. Surviving the game and making it to Uptown as healthy as possible is critical, as that level alone will take your soul. This was an incredibly hard run to do, but I'm glad I did it. This is definitely a more proper port of the game to have a run completed on. Special note, Belger can get out the effing window.
Yeah, a lot of people have been working on Final Fight lately. Like 5 or 6 people are working on it.
Yeah, it just blew the hell up.
Yeah. At first it was like just Butters and Murph, and then Zook and Macaw and DK28, and I think someone else is getting into it. A lot of them have, I think actually Murph and Butters might be the only ones that have boards. So they're going to be running the arcade version on hardware. Some of the others are running in MAME, and DK is running this. I don't know what difficulty he's playing on. I'm assuming just default, but the others are working on like the hardest settings you can pick, and it's just ridiculous. Arcade Final Fight's so stupid. They can put like up to 10 enemies on screen at once.
Oh my
TJ,
God.
wait there. Speaking of stupid, you should go right on into this game, because I know how much you love it.
You're right. Speaking of stupid, here's Glover. Any percent, no major skips, or also known as 90% not interesting. 49 by Yoshi Pro, and he says this run was awful.
With an exclamation mark. You said the exclamation mark right there. There you go.
Yep.
This Glover.
Oh, we have a highlight reels.
We do.
Yeah.
Oh,
Of course we do.
This doesn't
Are you
look
kidding?
awful to me. This looks amazing. What's wrong with you guys?
I see Mickey's glove and a ball. I'm interested.
It doesn't look broken at all. That looked completely normal. What just happened?
That's not a major skip, guys, which gives you an idea of how broken this is.
It's a perfectly normal skip.
That's an acceptable skip.
Legit.
The major skip run, you just like jump right through the boss door and skip all the levels leading up to it.
That's just a minor skip.
Did we get any update on the Glover 2 PC prototype at all? Did that ever
Nope, that
go
never
anywhere?
happened.
Oh.
Don't worry about that one. In fact, I think that the actual any percent Glover with major skips doesn't even get the ball. Like, I think he just uses the hand and like jumps through the door to the bosses and then gets the ball in there.
Did he just die? No.
No.
No,
Maybe.
he did the level.
Yeah. Shut up.
That looks perfectly normal.
Exactly.
Alright.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Good old Glover.
Okay,
What is this? That is a name.
Ooh, I
oh wow, yeah. Oh yeah, go for it. Let's give us here your best Japanese too, Spike.
All right. So we've got. Oh, I didn't actually read this whole thing. Shit. Okay. We've got Holy Umbrella. I've got that part.
Did you think Umbrella was Japanese?
No, I just saw. I saw Author Blues. I saw Holy Umbrella, and I was like, oh, it sounds
You're probably
hilarious.
thinking like, man, umbrella, that's an odd word to be Japanese with all the R's and L's in it. You'd think it wouldn't be. Oh, okay, there's the next bit. I got it.
This is of Japanese origin? What the fuck? Okay. So yeah, Author Blues got the record in Holy Umbrella Dondera no Mubo Shore for the Super NES J version, any percent, in 1 hour, 21 minutes, and 41 seconds. He says, Holy Umbrella is an action RPG plus platformer hybrid about magic umbrellas or something. I don't speak Japanese, period. There are a few cool tricks and skips in the game, but not much has turned out to be useful in the context of a speedrun. Sub 120 is certainly possible, maybe as low as 118 without any more tricks, but I'm happy with this time for now. Thanks to Jeff Rose Sledger and Raft Funk with their help. So
see, Rat Funk means something very different in German, and I'm starting to think that maybe that's a German thing, and it's not like a guy, Rat Funk. Yeah, I think, yeah, starting to think, which is dangerous. I should stop. I'm not sure what to say about this. This guy is
number one thing I can say is
with an umbrella.
the thinness of the kid's legs.
Yeah,
kind of fascinates me.
He is very anorexic.
Either the thickness of his legs or the thickness of his boots.
I think he looks like a tennis player. Actually. Looks like he's going to grow up to be a professional tennis player.
He does.
Yeah.
Okay. You're the perfect body type. Unhealthy. Let's go.
All right. We have next up. Oh, wow. You got so many people I can pass this on to, so I don't have to do anything. Great. Let's give this to Gilda.
What?
Yep.
I know nothing about Lufia, but fine.
That's why you're the perfect person to read it.
Just know that it's more Luffy than the previous game. It's just Lufia.
It's a little bit of Lufia.
Anyway, off you go. There's a joke for you already set up. Roll with it.
That's Lufia 2 Rise of the Sinistrals on the SNES US. Any % Ancient Cave, 1920 by Yogi the Monk. So it turns out that the Ancient Cave, which is thought to have tons of RNG, actually has none. Well, that's good news. There are 32 unique 32 unique floor 1s that can spawn at a time. I ran everything out based on one of those spawns. I used 3 frame-perfect audio cues based on the rhythm of the music to greatly increase the odds of getting the correct floor 1. After this, it's completing each floor in an exact number of frames, lose 1 frame, and the run is over.
Oh, great.
At floor 98, we don't have to be frame perfect anymore, but still have to do everything exactly. At the Master Jelly, we lose control of the manipulation, but still have about a 7 out of 8 chance to kill it.
Well, thank God.
The odds
No
are good
RNG.
Did I make this highlight, Fiesel, or did you?
I believe I did. I don't know, though.
I fully intended to make it, and I've just realized watching it now, I don't think I did.
So you're saying you don't like Fiesel's choices? Is that
No,
what
I think Fiesel's choice is perfect, but I don't know why I recognize this game if I didn't make the highlight, but I also do not remember making the No, I definitely didn't. I don't remember Dragons.
I really like
I would
one.
remember Radish Kick for sure.
Radish
I would absolutely
Kick.
remember Radish Kick. It's radish. It's alright. It's kind of rad, but... But yeah, Yogi the Monk's been out there with some really cool and interesting runs recently.
I'm
Cubits.
I'm absolutely mystified at lose 1 frame and the run is over.
Right.
Yeah, you know.
On the run
Frames
is no
not that-
RNG, but you have a 7/8 chance to kill it.
It's because of Master Jelly. the Master Jelly.
Much better.
Which is funnier with jelly in England than it is with jelly in America. God, I'm just imagining a giant plate of jelly wobbling back and forth. Possibly with like a mortarboard on, like it graduated with a master's. So it's got a mortarboard
You used
on.
a spoon. Jelly has been defeated.
Jelly wobbles out of the way. Spoon misses.
Spoon misses. Too drunk to use spoon properly. Anyways, so here's the next one.
Hey, Crack Attack.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's Mega Man X3 on the Mega Man X collection for PS2. Low percent category in 24-25 by our pal Crack Attack. He says, this is a run I'm extremely satisfied with. The X Collection version of the game used to skip to go directly to the final levels after the intro level. I improved my movement and boss strats for maximizing buster damage. I was aiming for 24-3X, but this surpassed my expectations. My sum of best is low 24 minutes.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
So
this category is pretty sweet.
Wow.
You just kind of pretend that the icon for the final stage is on the stage select and then choose it, and the game's like, all right.
You're the one who found this, right?
I'd like to interject.
Um,
This is why I
no,
love speedrunning.
Someone posted it in the SDA forums like 2 years ago or something, and I tried it and then started routing it and was like, this is dumb.
Some guy was playing through it casually one day, and his friend was like, "Man, like the last few stages are really hard." And it's like, "Yeah, those bonus stages are interesting though, where you get all the powers."
Yep. So
go ahead.
He basically skips all 8 Mavericks, so he doesn't get any weapons and he doesn't get any upgrades. So he has to play these last few stages, which are really hard, with just the Buster and basic health and no armor. So
Anybody
if he gets
who
hit
hasn't
twice,
played,
dies pretty much.
Exactly, yeah. Anybody who hasn't played X3 for whatever reason, I guess they were just like, our basic enemies don't do enough damage in this game.
Yeah.
Hold on. I can fix this.
Yeah, there's
They
like these huge
do-
robot guys that shoot lasers, and if you touch them, you lose like 70% of your health.
And not to mention that practically everything in the normal run is looped. So to actually see these guys attack is new for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes great knowledge of the boss fights and their patterns in order to survive through that run. So that's pretty cool he's pushing it that low.
I think I saw Ginny do this at the last ESA, but it was the SNES version, so we actually did fight all 8 Mavs. But he kept on making a point like, this is hard. This is really, really stupid hard.
Yeah.
Ginny,
Now, X3 is a surprisingly difficult run that a lot of people don't know. Yeah, everyone knows X2 because it's got more extensive movement with stuff like chaining and the fire
flame
attack.
thing.
Yeah, the flame thing. I can't remember what it's called. Yeah. But yeah, X3 is brutally difficult from the standpoint, almost kind of like for us in the Kingdom Hearts community. Yeah, you get hit once or twice, you die. So yeah, avoiding damage is very important, especially in a low percent or any percent run of this game. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's an awesome time.
We've also got then Mega Man ZX Advent. I think this is the DS0 game. Pretty sure.
Okay.
This is Any Percent Easy in 10211 by Peter Afro, who just says it's a 1043. That's a great way to read time. It's a 1 hour 43 second in-game time, and there's nothing else to say according to him. You literally wrote that. I'm not just being mean.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Speaking of being mean, though, I will be mean about this.
Oh, here we go.
This is Metal Gear Rising. This is the 360 PAL versions. Any percent new game plus hard in 5453 by General Beatrix. And this is one of the dumbest skips ever that I could think of in this game, which you're going to see in just a moment. It says that I go back to this game every few months and somehow keep managing to find loads of new things. Found 2 big new skips, one with a new application of an otherwise useless glitch, and a load of little strat improvements. Still improvable, but I'm done running this game for a while at least. So, in New Game Plus, you have Infinite Blade mode, and for some reason in this fight coming up, if you use the Blade mode and everything goes into slow motion, the wall doesn't spawn and the enemies just sort of run towards you, as you'll be seeing, and you just run past them, and the door shuts, and you skip it.
Oops.
Well done.
It's the only place. It's the only place that this works, and Beatrix couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. Kramer couldn't believe it.
Nobody could believe it.
Yeah,
But you can believe it this Sunday.
I'm enjoying this. Beatrix is did his grindy thing. That guy works his arse off when he's going to grind a time down. I think his quote was he wanted to run a shorter game or something else, and he said, "I'm going to take a break though. 9.5 hours of grinding runs for 5 days is not much fun."
Yeah.
That slow stroll past the enemies is amazing.
Yeah.
It's really stupid.
Don't mind me.
Yeah.
Like,
I got a sword just like you guys. I'm one of you. Hey, check it out.
congratulations to
Forgot my name tag.
on to Beatrix, and he's never. Well, he's going to take his well-deserved 6-7 months off from this game, and then he'll go back. He'll just randomly be grinding it out when you're talking to him one day and be like, "Hey, what's going on?" It's like, "Oh yeah, I found a new strat." It's like, "Oh no, you're not playing that again." It's like someone going back to an abusive partner, and you're just like, "Oh, you're not with him again, are you?" And it's "Oh, it's fine, it's fun, it's different this time." Anyway, right. Spanish.
Rude.
Spanish. Let's go. Spanish. We'll give this one to Hobz. You got 2 Papo. Is it EO?
Yeah, Papo Yo.
Okay.
That's my terrible Spanish accent.
Good stuff.
So, Crownix, I guess, has completed the 80% route on PC in 50 minutes and 33 seconds. Said he picked up this speedrun late, I assume late 2014. Then the world record was 1 hour and 10 minutes. Then I found ways to get out of bounds. Shoutouts to the Englishman for his tutorials and being a great guy. Shoutouts to Twikax and Dokelfar for also finding some great strats. Of course, also great guys. Credit goes to coffee and beer for fueling me.
Shoutouts to beer.
Shoutouts to beer for being a great guy.
Yep.
Helping me through the good times and the bad.
Always been there for me.
But there's
Helping
another
me
one of
through
these.
the good time.
Yeah, so the other one is Papo-io.
Don't worry. Keep going. Keep going. Just
Okay,
ignore
the other Papo-io,
doesn't
a
stop.
Spanish game run by the Englishman. 80% no out of bounds. 80% no out of bounds on the PC in 1 hour, 10 minutes, and 12 seconds. Since the out of bounds tricks break so much of the game wide open, 80% world record holder Crownix and I decided we should make this category, which shows off a number of really cool tricks in the levels that are normally skipped. Honestly, I can't tell you how great it is to be speedrunning a game that has actual competition again. You can expect a lot of back and forth world record switches in both of these categories.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at his name. The ending in CSZ is setting off my pronunciation urge to figure out what it's meant to be. If it's meant to be
think
from,
Crownix says, like Simon says.
Could be
Is it,
Crownix's,
though?
could be Crownix or something like.
Yeah,
some
but
kind
it
of
could
Czech
be
thing.
it could be
Crownix.
itch
Yeah.
sh with an SZ at the end, or the Slavic things. It could be anything. So keep us posted.
Yeah. Please let us know how to
Yeah,
pronounce
let's
it.
follow up on that.
Chronic.
It's the most
Sure.
important thing going on right now.
Well, I just want to stay away from the Papo-io because Spanish is confusing.
Papo-io.
Papo-io, yeah, it's easy.
Papo-io.
Papo-io.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the same
You
letter
see-
is two totally different sounds. No worries.
Well, it doesn't. E and io, but it's
E
like in
and yo.
Italian, the Y would. Well, it's not yo, is it? Is it io?
No, it's yo.
It is yo.
Yeah,
Oh,
or
'cause I-
or Joe.
Oh, really? See, there you go. It
Yeah.
is still. I knew it. See, in Italian, it would just be two I's, and it would be Papa e io, so it would be easier. So, anyway, the point
Some
is,
classic
these
fun.
runs were good. Good job to Crown Itch, or whatever the name is.
I think
It's going to be.
I think we can conclusively say that's not how it's pronounced.
Right.
That's what we found out.
That's the one certainty.
Yeah.
We'll see. And to the Englishman. Now, Quake. You know Quake. Everyone knows Quake. Everyone
What's Quake?
either loves Quake or pretends to love Quake. There's no other option.
But I've never played the PC PAL version.
This is the PC PAL. This is the superior version. All right. Capped for 50 FPS. No, this is the PC PAL, 100% easy. In 4352 by Elgu, who merely says okay. It's more than okay, Elgu. It's okay. You don't have to. You don't have to be afraid. But it's Quake. Quake's comes and goes, and it's coming again at the moment. More and more people are thinking, "Oh my god, he went really quickly."
Yes, that was
Good
done
thing he's
very quick.
speedrunning. In the right place.
Yeah.
What
Well,
must be?
really quickly though, really fast, and
The timing on that was beautiful, though. Lots of people are thinking, "Oh my god, he went really quickly."
yeah, that's what they're thinking.
No shit.
But yeah, it's Quake. It's really good. A bunch of people are thinking of picking it up again. That I've heard people saying, "Yeah, I'm going to run Quake now," and we'll see if that happens. But there's not much to say about Quake that you can't just figure out by looking at it because
Yeah, I still
It's-
think strafe jumping is one of the hardest tricks in any game ever.
yeah, it's
Yes.
harder than it looks. It's
There's
more
a-
precise than it looks, and it looks ridiculous. So
They just shake the mouse and somehow they're going like 500 miles an hour.
yeah, you know, it's the mouse
Then you
shaking.
jump backwards through the wall.
Remember when I first learned to do that for deathmatch, and it was just like, "Oh my god, the world is open."
Yeah, except that
Look how
now,
fucking fast I'm going.
except then so much effort was put on to trying to just do that you couldn't focus on shooting anybody anymore.
I didn't say I got good at the game. I just said I got a brief bit of time.
All right, Spike.
Right
Oh no, actually, I should say no. That doesn't work quite as well as I'd hoped. Okay, let's give this one to Bl00dyBizkitz, Shadow the Ninja. I don't need a reason. I can make one up. You met Charlie on, right? There you go. Done. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Charlion has got this down to an 11-12. That's quick. On the NES any percent, and he says, "In the eye of the storm of Hurricane Belchi, Charlion has patiently bided his time, trying to reverse the flow of the wind. Turns out that loads."
He did. Move past it.
Is it Blecky?
Yeah, sorry, it's Hurricane Belchi. How have I never
Hurricane
seen
Belchi.
Shut up, Belchi. Someone can make it all to count right now.
I've been calling him Bleachy for years, and I never noticed that Belchi is right there in front of me.
Oh, it hurts. Belchers.
All right, sorry.
And that was totally on purpose.
That's fine. Keep going. Keep going.
So what did
All right.
Belch you do? What is this?
Turns out that loads and loads of runs is what it took. 11-12 is the new time for Shadow of the Ninja, and to beat the record now, one pretty much has to have a fault-free run, something that is the ultimate goal me and Blecky are working for. For me, though, I'm patiently waiting for the winds to pick up again before I make my retaliation once more.
Hurricane Blecky. You know, in like another 2 years, we're going to find a third way of making his name funny.
Yep.
And this is going to happen again.
I'm glad I could be of service.
I just really disappointed in all of us that none of us noticed that it's...
Belchi and waiting for the winds to pick up again.
Yeah, exactly. Hurricane Belchi, like...
Ralph!
All right, now, Spike.
Sure.
This is a precious one, and you're being given it because your nickname is the first 3 letters of this game.
Oh, now it makes sense. I get
You
that.
should be
Right.
privileged to have this.
Spike.
I'm
We
so
have a
cute.
highlight. We have a highlight this time. We asked for a highlight last time, and we have one this time.
So I am assuming this is Spider-Man, the video
No.
game.
Nope.
No.
Yes,
Oh, it is.
Incorrect.
Okay, it is
Incorrect.
Spider.
Good effort, though.
Did you
We have
guys not?
Spider, the video game?
Did you guys
run
not
by
get Spider in America? That famous show Spider?
They had to turn him into a man. Americans don't understand arachnids.
Sounds great. But oh yeah, it's from one of our good friends, Caveman DCJ, big fan of the PlayStation 1 era. Ran this on PS1. Again, it's Spider, the video game. Very popular series. Any percent in 2850. Good improvement from last week. New route, taking much more optimal exits, mostly in the form of unlocking a bonus level and doing all 3 exits there, saving about a minute. If I can just get a little better, I might be able to cut 28 before the other legs catch up to me. As our numbers grow, so too does our web. The 8 legs of Spider speedrunning are coming. Prepare.
So you might have missed that, Spike. Last week he promised that he would get 7 other runners to run this game with him, and they would become the 8 legs of Spider speedrunning. So it obviously sounds like he's picked up at least 1 or 2 unwilling cooperators.
They're just 7 alts of his.
I was about to say, like, don't let him finish this bullshit. That is not it.
He just does his mustache a different way and photos himself. And then he just sits in a Skype call with all of him as alt saying, "Nice mustache. No, you have a nice mustache. Thinking of running Spider. Want a race?"
Oh, really? That's fine. What's that?
I can't believe this isn't Spider-Man. Like, I really was like, oh, they had a typo. Just Spider, the video
If there's
game.
one thing you should never underestimate, it's the PS1's library of games.
No shit. That's not even a joke. Don't laugh.
Everybody
you could
wants to
read
find
it.
a PlayStation. Go ahead.
The thing with the PS1 game, when you see a weird title for a game, you might like make a joke out of it, and like you might see on another console Spider the video game and say like, spider, like an actual spider, and everyone was like, ha ha ha, no, it's a cool super spy called Spider. And you're like, oh, great. No, on PS1, it's literally what the title is.
Spider.
There's so much competition, there's no time to fuck around. Get to the point. What's your game? It's a video game. What's the main character? It's a spider. Done. Next
Sweet.
game.
Spider's video game. Moving
Spyro,
on.
Yeah.
the dragon.
Yes, exactly.
What do you got? You got a dragon.
You got a dragon. What's it do?
His name's
Not
Spyro.
important. Great.
Not important. Crank it out. We need it on my desk by next Monday.
Dude, we like this title. You got a crocodile, but we think that Mick the crocodile's too long. Can you call him Croc? We can save time here. Brilliant. Croc it is.
It happened and they got loose. Ape escape. Ship it.
I think I found the title of my video game for the door in the middle of the room. It's gonna be Mick the Crocodiles. Alright.
Okay, right, here we go. We're composed. All
We're
right.
together. We got it.
We got Star Wars. God, it's Fiesel's voice does not help. All right.
That's right. Don't let me get in your head. No, keep going, Flicky, please.
We got Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords, whose PC only presented in 2011 by Glaznonk. That's what I'm going with. And he says, there were several places that were bad, but a few good splits in the second half saved this run. I'll likely improve this time soon. Whew, oh my god, I'm back to normal. I'm good.
No, you're not.
Yeah, this...
Far from normal.
Until someone says spider again.
It just sets him off.
It's good. I'm fine.
Use a trigger word.
It's fine. I'm good. I'm good. That was Kotor. I didn't know what was going on in the thing. But
Right. Well, he skipped about 40 minutes of gameplay, he says, in his
geez.
other comment here. Yeah, by doing that trick there. So that's pretty big.
That's a pretty big
All
skip.
right. Hey,
Apparently,
speaking
Spike
of...
has been banned from announcing.
I saw that. I saw that.
Wrecked.
There's a reason for that. I apologize, DW.
It's alright. I'll be interested to see if there are ways you can twist this one. The only other Zelda I can think of is Zelda from Sabrina the Teenage Witch. So aside from making a joke either about graphs, that it's some kind of graphing joke with legends in it, or it's
F.
about
Scott Fitzgerald,
Sabrina's
maybe.
art.
Or just legend.
Oh, I don't know what that reference is.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. Exciting.
How
Learning.
exciting.
There you go.
Reference.
Anyway, Fuser, you should probably do this anyway.
Why don't I do it anyway? Because
Darkwing doesn't want me to do it, or
Sure.
Spike to do it. And I don't want to get trapped by him. He's probably set up some dangerous thing in there that I'll read and look stupid. So,
Truth.
right,
Yeah.
yeah. I think the only reason Darkwing got this record back is because he wanted me to read it on Sunday sequence break. So I probably should.
oh, you should then.
Okay. Well, so this is The Legend of Zelda, the original Legend of Zelda for the NES. This is any percent no up A category. He's got the time down to 30:16 now. He lost the record at some point, and
Yeah,
I believe this is
or the
his
week before.
right. And I believe this is his first run having it back again. But yeah, 30:16 is the new time. 30:20 was sort of an arbitrary goal that had stood for a while, and I think before that, I mean, there's been so many arbitrary goals for Legend of Zelda. You know, how low do we think the time can go? And it just keeps getting lower and lower. He says, good run, bad level 9. There's a time goal for this game now. I won't mention it, but we'll see when we get there. So he doesn't even want to say what the next arbitrary
doesn't
time
wanna
mark is.
say.
Doesn't want to
That's so
jinx
he
it.
can claim it, whatever he gets next.
Right.
That's right. The goal was 30-15.
30:03.
Right.
Promise.
This run was
30:16.
so ridiculous.
Yeah, I need to watch
Like,
this one. I haven't had
he
a chance.
was
Level 9.
he was ahead by like 25 seconds or something going into the last 4 splits, and he's like, all right, well, I'm going to be losing time on all these, and each split he kept gaining more time. He was like, well, that was a pretty good level 6 and gained like 3 seconds. But
God.
yeah, his level 9, he lost like 16 seconds or something on that split.
Oh, damn.
Still got a 30-16. I don't mean to take credit for this run, but it was right after I rated him with the message that I hope that all of his runs are terrible and he gets the worst luck always for every run. And then
Goodbye, PJ.
It's probably for the best that your hope didn't come real, because if it did, you ruined some guy's life. Just for a raid message, PJ. Just for a funny raid message.
What's going on
Worth it every
life.
time.
All right.
He never saw that during that. I just want to say again, real quick, the back and forth rivalry between Darkwing and Lack Attack has been super exciting to watch the last 6 months. So,
What is it with
Yeah.
Darkwing and making rivals?
I don't know.
He's
Well,
just a very dislikable guy.
He's well, he is a true shitbag, so I get where people are coming from.
Oh, Darkwing wants me to give the example. Last time I rated him with like a good luck raid message, like that's all it said. The next split he got like a -1, and the split after that was like a +35. Yeah, and then the rest of his runs were garbage that night.
Thank you, Pete.
Okie doke. We got Wild Arms. This is on PS3. This is any percent with ACE or ACE, something like that.
Arbitrary code execution.
that
Yeah,
sounds
that's it.
like what it
That's
is.
the one.
Oh,
5111 by Chaos Twitch. It says getting close to the ultimate sub 50 goal, but won't return to this category until someone beats this time. Yeah, that is arbitrary code execution. You got it. All right, and then
Nailed it.
finally we have a Wild Guns. I'm gonna give this one to Hobz. No favoritism, Bl00dyBizkitz, but I don't know.
Oh,
Why not?
darn.
So,
Yeah, sorry.
it all makes sense, I'm sure.
Yeah. So another co-op run here.
Yeah, did Hobz go?
Yes.
gone.
He's
Oh, he's
gone.
gone.
No one's gonna read this.
Oh, my,
Oh my god. Okay,
Sit here.
You can step in, Bl00dyBizkitz. I always knew that you were more reliable and great. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, lady.
That's all right.
All right. We have Wild Guns, run by co-op run by Crack. I feel like this was said 10 seconds ago, and I literally forgot that. I'm a genius.
That's right.
All right. Crack Attack and the Herp 88. This is on the SNES, the English version. Co-op hard in 21 minutes and 50 seconds. Me and the Herp 88 did this run during HEDQ and got a recording of a decent run. Oh, that's really cool. Just barely found our recorded run. We had been practicing on netplay last year, so we had a good idea of how to execute. The tech includes killing trash enemies for the timer to count down, using the lasso or stun, and filling up the Vulcan gun meter by shooting enemy bullets. We hope to improve it next time we meet up again.
This game is pretty
looks rough.
cool.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
game's awesome. This is the game I think of every time Wild Arms appears in the list. It's basically the same name, right? Wild Guns and Wild
Well,
Arms. It's like
Wild Arms, I still think of Glitch in
this
the
is Dragon
System,
Shop.
whatever that was called. Something Arms.
which
That
one?
was Glitch in the System was the subtitle, like Metal Arms
Yeah,
or
but
something
he's
like
gonna
that.
turn into a dragon.
I think you're right, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So there you
also
go.
really-
Metal
I
Arms.
find
Yeah.
it really fascinating whenever people get together at the GDQs, and a lot of it is we just go and hang out with friends, or we're doing our runs or whatever. Is how many people actually do, like, I know there's been plenty of like backroom Contra stuff that's been done, just like these co-ops. Some people do like 1 player or 2 players, 1 controller type runs. I always find those fun to see people trying to get those in the week they've got together to make it happen, because co-op runs are such a crowd pleaser.
Yeah,
I'd really
really
love
are.
to do that, but I'm so
having
convinced
recorded
that I would just
4
never do
co-op
it.
Runs.
Mm-hmm.
Having recorded 4 co-op runs at GDQs, I can say it is
yeah.
incredibly stressful to do, and I do not recommend trying to do it.
I spent a lot of time doing that with River City Ransom
Yeah.
at this past HDQ.
Oh yeah.
I've had it where I had to practice a co-op run at ESA, and we just did a really bad job of actually practicing it. I'm too worried if I went that neither of us would ever even boot the game. Or we'd do what I did with Adam, where we boot the game and leave the game running for about 7 hours without actually playing it. So,
Nice.
yeah, and then you turn it off without playing.
Yep.
There you go.
Sick.
Hey, that wraps it all up, guys.
What?
The bow,
Already?
the runs have been put away in their heart-shaped box of the Valentine's Christmas chocolate things
This is
and all
underwater.
that. No, not intentionally.
Fair enough.
Yeah, sorry. Not even gonna pretend I wanted it. And all the other stuff has been done. We'd like to take this opportunity to thank our guests, Spike, Hobz, and Bl00dyBizkitz. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us on. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
good
was
times.
probably the least focused, but one of the most enjoyable Sunday sequence breaks we've had. We've had a
I'm
very
glad
good.
I was here.
Yeah, we've had a very good little group of episodes. Last week's was really fun as well. So,
You guys did Castle of Illusion last week, and it was fun.
yeah, that was good fun too. It was mostly us talking about how delicious one of the stages in particular looked.
Oh, the like ice cream cake level or whatever.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
macaroons, strawberry milkshake.
delicious.
Oh, it looks so good.
Now, memories of
Still,
that
my favorite quote from HEDQ was when Blecky or Belchy was doing commentary for the World of Illusion race with Ignal and Darbian. I almost called him Darbian. And they got to a similar like the cake level, and they go in, and you know Blecky just learned the commentary for this. So his commentary is like, so the number one thing that you all need to understand about this level, other than its deliciousness, is such and so forth. It really is amazing commentary.
There's something about Blecky's voice that just makes that so perfect.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like
he's
a sense of
top-tier
humor.
commentator.
It's a sense of humor, but just a real like agreeable seriousness in his voice. Like it's like you're right, Blecky. There's a lot of deliciousness in this level. But yeah, thanks all to the Kingdom Hearts guys. Kind of upset that you're making me buy another game. This is 2 weeks in a row where
Get
I'm
the Spanish version, man. You'll instantly won't regret.
I almost want to get it myself. Seriously.
I want to
sounds
try and
pretty
find a Russian version or something, like a real like
Oh God.
Russian.
I have a
Mickey.
guy that I could ask, and he'll probably make it for you by tomorrow. he's
That's
a
the
magician.
Russians for you. That's any Russian PJ. It's like, oh, you know, I'll pay you for it. Okay, great. I'll make it now.
Shut up,
Let me round up my
Kind of
family.
worked.
Round up my family. We'll translate it, and my family will VA everything. You might hear VA from other sections of the game in the background of this VA because we're recording it all at once. But hey, I was Duckfist. PJ was the ocean in that picture. Right.
I think
Cool.
PJ was the shoe. I think you were
PJ is the shoe. Yes.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
We'd like to say to you guys that we're going to run ads up to the end of the show. As you may have noticed, we are now subscribers. Or what do you call a person who has that? A subscriber?
You
guess-
are a sellout? I'm trying to remember what the
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I think that's the term.
right-
Is it called
I think that's
sellout?
the proper term. Yeah.
Right.
Well, are you a sellout if you actually don't have anything to sell?
We're a buyout.
Too profound.
I think that
that's
makes you
some
worse
deep shit you're
sometimes.
talking about.
Yeah.
Literally just
So,
give me money. You'll
Give
get
me money,
nothing
you will
in
get
return.
nothing in return.
Feel free
Your
to
money.
subscribe to our channel. You will get exactly a star at the side of your name right now. That's all you're getting. And the pleasure and joy in knowing that you're supporting at least one person you probably like.
That person's not here,
Asterisk.
but
No, it's not me.
Right.
You know, you're probably looking at it and thinking like, man, I like Feasel, but I hate PJ, Flicky, and Gildersneeze.
Yeah.
Should I subscribe? And the answer
Don't worry,
to
that money
question-
goes to not the
Absolutely.
people that you hate.
Yeah.
the answer
If
to
you
that
like me,
question
money goes
is
directly to me.
yes.
Promise.
We'll make emotes and stuff. I don't know. Gilda said he'd do it. Right.
we're working on
Something
it.
like that.
Great. Thanks again
And
to
they
our
said they'd
guests.
pay me, and I was like, oh, really?
Wait, we're not paying you.
Quarter. I'll do it for a quarter.
I have a rubber band here. You can have that.
You could eat some bubble gum for a quarter. If I have bubble gum on the bottom of the chair, if you eat it, I'll give you a
No,
quarter.
sold on the rubber band. Get your bubble.
Alright.
I have the bubble gum holding the rubber band together. You get
Nice.
a 2-for-1
Oh
package.
man, it's like getting a raise.
PJ, Jesus Christ, we can't afford to beat
It's
up our
okay.
deal.
No,
It's got to.
shh, Flicky, it's alright. I found the bubble gum under Fiesel's chair.
Hey,
Get Fiesel's ABC gum.
All right, so thanks everyone for watching. We're going to run 3 minutes of ads after the end of the show.
you might want to give
shout
shout-outs as well.
And we
I
got
have-
shout-outs. I was going to say next week is maybe Kaizo, is it?
Well, let's get it. We'll let you know when it's finalized. It'll be something
Alright.
next week. Oh yeah, next week on SGL, next Thursday or next Saturday on SGL, Saturday 4 p.m. on this station, we're going to be doing Legend of Zelda. That's next week's SGL.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that'll be fun.
Game.
Yep, topical, on topic. Maybe I'll try to get Darkwing to jump in the call or something.
You should.
Yeah.
Oh, I had a thing to ask. Apparently for Mystery Tournament, you have to submit mystery games. If anyone wants to pick my mystery games for me, please just let me know.
Nice.
Thanks.
All right. So I think I found the raid message.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
It could be so many things from this episode.
Yeah, that's concerning.
This one's my favorite so far.
Yeah. All right. And we do have anyone to rate.
Yeah, figure out the raid target while we're giving the shout-outs.
Are there anyone in your Kingdom Hearts community to rate?
Well, let's check.
Load up
There's
the team
Adam
page.
and there's Mist, and there probably are a few others. There's always someone who's doing Kingdom Hearts somewhere.
Do you want to do Mist or Adam? Let's do one of those.
Let's go with Adam personally.
Okay, yeah.
Because BBS tournament relevance. I'm sure
Alright.
he'll appreciate it.
Yeah, let's go ahead and it's just Adam Timothy 0. Is that what it is?
Let me throw it in.
Twitch.tv /
and
it's
chat.
just Adam Timothy 0.
It's just right.
Right. Are you confident that's correct? There we go. We're going to spam it now. They spam.
Spam, go,
Raid
go,
messages
go.
up there. Go watch Raid him. Watch some ads at the end of ours. We'll see you next week, hopefully, for Kaizo and stuff. Any other last things, Fiesel?
Legend of Zelda,
Me?
maybe?
Who? What?
Legend of Zelda, SGL, any
Yep.
other last shout-outs or
That's
anything?
about it for me.
Cool. Check out SGDQ, I think, is making its hotel announcement soonish, or has already. ESA is a thing that's happening also, so keep an eye on the big events and the smaller events in your area. And we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
The Sunday Sequence Break.